middle of the stage, and who will call themselves the first major winner of the Halo Championship Series season. Shopify Rebellion, OpTic Gaming, 4-0 in the first series to OpTic Gaming to send us to this second best of 7. We're back on Fortress, but the game type this time around is going to be Assault.
And let's not forget, Formal and OpTic Gaming assembled this roster for one reason. They split up a World Championship winning roster. They caused the craziest roster mania in over 20 years of professional Halo. And Formal on record as saying he would not compete this season unless he had these 3 players next to him. And you're starting to understand why. We got a second best of 7 to decide the tournament.
Well, it's a good start here from Shopify Rebellion. Royal 2 getting very aggressive already inside of the base, and this is where you do not want to find Royal 2. The amount of kills and damage he's managed to rack up from this armory and spiral position. And they're already starting to move that bomb under the base here, Shopify Rebellion. Last shot will find one! 3 dead for OpTic. That bomb is already moving in. And if you peek, Royal 2's going to take your face off. It's a double kill for him, and almost immediately the first arm for Shopify Rebellion. They are back in this series.
What an enormous deal. We were all wondering how are they going to mentally respond to what they just received, what they just saw. A decimating 4-0, but they're right back in it. Already leading. It only took about 40 seconds of play to get the first bomb in on a game type which often ends on time. Still 3 dead for OpTic Gaming.
Be careful they don't go back to back here with these bomb arms. Renegade's going to push Royal 2. Royal 2's going to stick him and stay alive. A killing spree off the rip. He might be able to stay alive a little bit longer, but no, finally they flush him out. And my goodness, that's an electric start from Shopify, and boy did they need it.
They needed it exactly. That is the start you want to see if you're a Shopify Rebellion fan, because they are showing signs of life. And like we said, early control as well. And what a time. Let's get into a listen in here with Shopify Rebellion.
Yes, get up to that. Fall at the ball. Behind me, Wyatt. Yeah, item once.
Holy shit, after their bond.
Nice. One's up on the tower. One guy from me, Our tower. Zoe. One guy Owen right with bomb.
They're winning Porch Wyatt.
So yeah,
Porch Wyatt after their base.
Yeah, almost out of us. One's our flag person. Watch up here, guys. Watch up here. And a spiral. One shot.
After their base.
One shot a spiral.
Red bar on their base.
Another one on Preston. Looking for him. Is it Fletcher?
What is up there?
Sure, Fletcher's for.
I'm here.
Both side right now. One side, one enemy.
Chase.
They're no mains. Shut the bomb. Ring on. Audio. Elbow, 3 shot. One shot down, elbow. You're good. One spawner now. Might get off bottom. He's spawn fly. Going snipe right now.
Two
Hey, there's a guy on me. There's a spawn on me. All snipe. Sprawl me. They're tower.
I got the backside.
Tower hit him twice.
Tower win.
Last two on Matt.
That's the snipe.
You sure?
Yeah, they have snipe. No. And they're flag stairs.
Fletcher's dead.
They're flag stairs again.
Two stairs snipe.
Beer. Yo, Jada, weed right.
But it's a top side sniping. They're porch. They're
John.
They're bond. Snipe down our left side. On me. John is snipe. Going back to their bond. Going bond spiral. Nice. Let's go.
Bomb is their bomb.
Live for. Yo. Matt, live. On me. All shields. He's spiral side. One is spiral. Yo, sniper's down spiral.
Running right.
Yo, wait, top there.
Yo, snipe
Drop.
those. Snipe.
Yeah, you're sniping there. One guy's our beer.
Two to the base, John. He's sniping on the base too. It's challenging. He's on the base sniping somewhere, bro.
Yeah, bombs
They're just shooting their base, doing nothing, bro.
Oh, yo.
Can you guys go run in range?
Watch out. One shot there, beer. Watch out.
Yeah, two on it.
Nice. West down. I'm helping you. Yo, sniper down 2, Matt. Yo, Preston, that's your bomb, okay?
You can let it read.
Yo, I'm getting to the tower. I'm going to the tower. One guy's size one there.
Yeah, they're snipe going elbow. Yo, Matt, they love hiding under the base, okay?
Elbow right now, weak.
Could be one S1.
On the base, 100%.
S1.
Yeah, under the site. Watch out. Another, behind you, hit him once. You got there.
One shot. Arwood now in range. One spawner.
You're going stuck for one the cubby. Stuck for one the cubby.
I'll come. Got him.
Oh my god. Yo, man, watch you. You're little. Top tower.
Yo, Matt's still owning their base.
Yo, no, they're poor Cerebro. They're both.
Come on.
That's time. I think he's here.
Nice one.
I think he's still sniping.
Still stop sign.
Either side, go on.
Wing 3 shot.
Matt's still on their base. They're charging.
One guy tower, one is corner. They're wing.
Well, Royal 2 is the best armory player in all of Halo Infinite. He just does not die here. He's on another killing spree, and OpTic cannot get him out of this position.
I think the best man comps for something like Matt's still alive, just dominating their base, and he is indeed. He's 13 and 5, also leading the team in assists, 13, 8 and 5 right now. And it is safe to say it is a different Shopify Rebellion here in the second series.
They've got that bomb under the base as well, so bomb has been progressed into the OpTic Gaming basement, and Royal 2 off the back of these 2 kills that have just come in from his teammates is going to keep it alive, keep the focus there as the overshield pops in 3 seconds time.
Formal's already there, Bound's already there as well. OpTic with a very good presence around ring. We'll see who snags this overshield though.
Formal was taken down. Renegade might fall as well. He goes, but Legend gets the important kill and finally cleans out Royal 2, but it's not at the cost of an overshield. Cycle now finding a sniper rifle of his own. And OpTic Gaming have been peppered so far in this game. They've really spent very little time outside of their own base.
It's really impressive to see the resilience and the bounce back from Shopify here. Not easy to do after we just saw what happened in that first grand final. Cycle stays alive on the elbow as well. Bomb might reset here. Royal 2 maybe trying to get a touch if he gets a kill. But for now, a little bit of a standoff here. A lot of time has elapsed though. 5:30 left. Cycle still alive. Takes down Formal as well.
Yeah, Formal says I can't really do much about that. Legend finds it even harder. It's a double kill off the spawn. Legend just gets sent immediately back to the black screen, and Bao might be next.
It was 4 dead there, and they even got essentially the follow-up kills. Nice shot still. Cycle still alive on the elbow. Might finally be flushed out. Almost trades yet again, but amazing numbers from him as well. And off of that spree, Cycle stayed alive in the elbow for so long that he's 18 and 8 in the game.
One thing you got to give OpTic credit for, though, it's still only one bomb that's been armed. It's still within one play on that objective. And for the first time in quite some time, we see Legend and a member of OpTic on the Shopify Rebellion side of the map. Bomb will reset in around 10 seconds time, and with the kills going down in the OpTic base at the moment, it's going to be up to Legend to have to flank and come back to his side to just stop that bomb progressing.
You bring up a great point. I mean, what kind of heartbreak would it be if OpTic starts to put some bombs on the board here and steals this game #1 after what we've seen off the opening 7.5 minutes from Shopify? They look fantastic, but the game is not over yet. Might see a bomb reset here.
I think Frosty wants this touch. Frosty will get that touch on the bomb as well. He's going to keep it going. He's going to keep it in the LOS of not just his team, but also with an opportunity to move it to the bottom of the armory through the basement. And if he can do so, then Shopify Rebellion, having just picked up on Overshield as well, might be able to go up by 2.
Look at the timing there. He does not take any damage from Formal whatsoever. So, oh no! World 2, a little bit of Overshield left. Back whacked. That's going to stop that rush. And now they're 2 dead, just like that.
Maybe just a little bit over-aggressive there, not playing off of damage, just trying to take space, knowing they had that Overshield. And OpTic, deep breath for them this time around. They will be able to survive. That bomb is still under their base, though, and the longer it's there, the more they just have to play around it. They can't make progress up the map. They can't even think about getting that bomb towards where they need to in the Shopify half of the map.
Yeah, reset now here. Presumably, no, it's a touch. A player. Bomb's arming. Bomb's arming. A player gets a sneaky touch there. They're already in the armor. Can Frosty finish? Not yet. Who else is there?
A lot of arming has been done. Renegade will get that throw out, but as we know, that fuse is still essentially lit. And if Renegade doesn't pick up the kills onto Royal 2, then OpTic might be in a little bit of trouble, but finally, Renegade will be able to get that one away. It is a scary, scary few moments there for OpTic, but upon reflection, in conclusion, you have to say they've done a pretty good job.
That was wild to watch from the tower POV because we saw the bomb resetting, and Shopify knew it. Frosty flew in to get the last second touch after they had pushed up, and then almost, I mean, a moment away, less than a second away from getting that second sneaky arm, which could have sealed the game. Instead, we will continue just under 3 minutes left to play.
And OpTic have that bomb onto the Shopify side of the map. Not by far, but by far enough. Frosty trying to take down Formon, will be able to do so. Not sure he had any sniper ammo left to try and hit a nice no-scope, and Frosty does the responsible thing here for Shopify Rebellion and gets that bomb back onto the OpTic side of the map.
Once again, goes all the way to A1 without taking any damage. Really, really nicely done, and now they need to work around each other. But a lot of pressure on Frosty here at the bottom of the armory.
OpTic a little bit trapped under their base though, in and around the spiral, and if they pick up kills here with how far that bomb is up the map, then this is a scary proposition for OpTic Gaming. Frosty will find one. It's 3 dead for OpTic. Last alive is going to be behind Frosty. He gets the beat down, doesn't get the kill, but the info should be enough. The bomb is being armed. Last shot is there to protect. Cycle's got it in his hands, and it will be 2-0 to Shopify Rebellion. The regain is coming in.
Amazing patience, amazing resilience, and continued dominance now from Shopify. And it feels almost unbelievable after what we saw in that first series, but as you say, they have regained not only a foothold in the series, but a firm control of the scoreboard. 2-0 with less than 2 minutes left to play.
Cycle is making OpTic chase shadows. They cannot find where he went. Such a smart route, and now he's going to come back to backstab. He finds one onto Formal. Legend's going to be in front of him as well. The footsteps will be heard, and the shots are true as well from Cycle. OpTic 3 dead yet again.
Your elbow belongs to Cycle. Sometimes you just got to accept that this man has been here all game. And look at his numbers. He's 26 and 12 with 10 assists, way past double positive. Unbelievable performance from him. This is the home stretch for them, the last 90 seconds of the game.
Another death hit for Legend, another kill. Make it almost 2 for the man on your screen. Cycle 27 and 12. Formal not got enough shields to really trouble Cycle in this position, and the form that we're seeing from him, it's a killing spree from Cycle.
Man, this is his jungle gym. All your elbow are belong to us. Cycle cannot be flushed out of elbow. Now 1 minute left here. And this should be once again a victory lap for them.
This series feels very different. This game feels very different, but this is a reminder that Shopify Rebellion, when it comes to Assault, seem to have something a little bit special. It's a game type they would be very happy to see, but they won't be too sad to see Cycle no longer on their elbow.
Finally.
And maybe when this game is done.
But not before he records 29 kills. He's 29 and 13, 30 seconds left to play.
Another one here for Frosty, who's starting to come alive a little bit as well. 25 and 17. Welcome to the grand finals, Bradley Bergstrom. A quiet first series that we saw from him, but certainly announcing himself to the grand finals in this one. Last shot gets yet another camo, and it will be another double kill for him.
Gets taken down. A whole lot of stat padding, if I'm honest, in the last 2 minutes of play, but hey, all that will matter is the scoreboard. 3 seconds left.
Shopify Rebellion swept aside in the first series, but they strike first in the second. Fortress Bomb belongs to them. They get their first game on the board in our grand finals, and they are up by 1 in the reset.
And my oh my, did they ever need that? Not just the game on the board, but to break that streak from OpTic Gaming, which was, as we said, one of the fastest bracket resets in competitive Halo history. And the momentum starts to shift, despite being on the same map where they lost a devastating 3-2 flag. They instead turn it around with a 2-0 win. And every player on OpTic, aside, I believe, from Renegade, no, actually every player in the end going negative based on those last few minutes of absolute spawn cycle torture.
Spawn cycle, which is a very good way to put it.
Spawn cycle, that's what they should call them. 30 and 18 he ends the game. We'll take a look at some highlights. And it was Shopify all the way.
I mean, the opening strategy, the first few minutes belong to this man, though. Royal 2 on the armory, just spawn killing consecutive OpTic players as they tried to get back onto the map, and that's where the first arm came from. And he was alive for what felt like a lifetime, an eternity, down here on the bottom of the armory. Just when you thought maybe he's going to take some damage and get taken down, a little repulse keeps him alive for a little bit longer than OpTic fans would certainly have wanted to see.
You saw last shot there, and the player cam also pop off. And if you're a Shopify fan, that's what you want to see, is them getting loud. We know from experience watching this team play that they're playing their best when their comms are frenetic, when they're all hype, when they're all loud, gassing each other up. And there's no doubt there was a whole lot of that you heard during the listening. And unsurprisingly, based on the numbers, based on the control, Shopify is right back in this grand final and now find themselves only 3 games away from still taking the tournament.
It's just a lot of good for Shopify Rebellion to take away from that game. Not just the win, which is obviously, you know, number one on the list of things you've got to do, but little things like controlling snipes, hitting good shots, getting overshields. How many times did we see a Shopify Rebellion member with an overshield in their hands? Poor old Legend, by the way. It's like that one's for the triple kill. I remember that.
We should mention as well that they were able to pair this. They weren't just simply keeping their teammates alive in Spiral and Elbow, which, you know, that has a certain kind of science to it. They were also timing the overshield so well, getting very, very important multi-kills around ring just before the overshield was popping. Excellent snipe control as well. They were really, as you say, doing every single piece correctly.
Another thing I love about the way that Shopify play Assault as well is they're consistently moving that bomb. If they get too dead, someone is throwing that bomb forward, making you think about where you have to try and deny one of those players from sneaking up and getting that bomb on. They're so smart at just making sure that kills mean something.
Yeah.
Whether it's progress, whether it's trapping you on a spawn, Shopify really do have a mastery when it comes to bomb. Now we move our attention away from that though, and all of the good that Shopify have done onto something a little bit more straightforward. It's going to be first to 50, Slayer on streets. Let's talk about those records.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look at, specifically, as we look at Key Slayer's first here, 17 kills. Slayer stats in the grand final. For Formal 14 for Legend, and also quite a KD between those two on that first grand final. I mean, that is absolutely unbelievable to be recording KDs like that in a first grand final, but it feels like storyline-wise and momentum-wise, all of that is put to the side, especially if you're on the side of Shopify Rebellion, because they're locking in now with a series lead.
Well, it looks like game two is almost ready to go. OpTic have been testing, they've been bruised, they've been battered throughout this tournament. And it's just going to be another blow that they're going to hope that it's just a glancing one that they can add to the collection. Can OpTic answer back after a strong performance from Shopify Rebellion in that first game? We'll head into the streets.
And what a grand final it's been so far at the first major of the year, whether you're joining us here on Twitch, on YouTube, in the Scump Watch Party, the Maniac Watch Party, LVT, all around. Thank you for tuning in. It's been an unbelievable set of games so far, and there is still more Halo yet to play. We're underway in game number 2.
Cycle is already on your pink street. He is flying forward, but he can't get the finishing headshot. The final bullet to connect with Bound in that situation. Last shot's going to fly through. It's 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. Formal gets 1 though, and it's going to be 3 apiece.
Momentary 1v1. Formal trying to stay alive in Laundry. Not going to be easy though. Cycle wins that 1v1 from benches. Camo still up bottom middle.
Camo just popping right now. Legend trying to get some eyes on it. Renegade will pick up a kill on the pink street, which gives OpTic a little bit of space to play with. I was about to say, where's that Stalker rifle? Well, Frosty's got it in his hands, and he is a threat. He is a danger! That's last shot that Legend just did that to.
You get the feeling that every single 1v1, especially at this stage, and especially in a pivotal Game 2 Slayer, is going to be so important. That 1v1 secures the camo from Renegade. And as we said, a player with an unbelievable legacy who needs no introduction, but already defining a new era for himself this weekend in terms of consistency. What can he do with this camo?
We've seen some misplays with camo so far in this tournament where one player's gone a little bit early. Not enough damage being done, but that mistake is not being made. A one-shot cleanup. Elsewhere on the pink street, OpTic are cleaning house, and it's going to be Formal trying to find the last player alive. He sticks him into PD in more than one way. A plasma grenade sends him to J when it's going to be 12-8. Renegade barely had to do anything.
Textbook from OpTic Gaming. As we said, that single 1v1 at Cafe with the sidekick, pivotal in terms of securing the camo, securing the next few kills, and they slowly pick apart Shopify to now have a 4-kill lead.
Renegade finds another one, 4 and 2, double positive off the rip here for the man on your screen. Frosty's going to slow it down for just a second though. It's 2v2 as we turn attention back to bottom middle, and that camo is back up again. Feels like it was only up a few seconds ago.
First pick there comes in from Legend. Once again, he's in the same spot. A little bit of deja vu, no problem for him. This camo is going to be big as well. It's still a 5-kill lead as Bound picks up another one.
Pretty sure the Renegade just picked up the camo as well. Indeed, he does get away with it. No shields, but still with his life in his own hands. Frosty going to peek on the stairs here in front of him. Moves towards the B-rail. A little bit of damage done to Renegade here, but again, he's trying to wait. He's trying to play off of damage. He's trying to see if he can be maximum effectiveness when it comes to using this power-up, but it looks like elsewhere Shopify Rebellion are winning those fights, and now they get flooded. It's 3 kills, the difference between the two teams.
See what Royal 2 can do. That's a big flush of that last camo, and it felt like they could really run away with that, but instead the camo doesn't get involved as early as it needed to. Still a decent lead here for OpTic, but you got to think it could have been much more if they put that camo play together a little bit more evenly.
First few moments and minutes of this game seem to have just flown by. 21-17 the score, 9 minutes left on the game clock. Shot finds one onto Renegade, a couple of players stacked up on the arcade side, so Formal says, you know what, I don't fancy that quite now. Legend will move in to clean up one of those.
Kills traded out initially. See what Formal is able to do here. He does have help from C with that red gun. Kills traded out in the back of C, and now it's just only
last shot.
a 2-kill lead for OpTic Gaming. Let's get into a listen in here as they try to extend their lead further.
I'm hitting him. Have a weak guys up here. I'm weak.
Two BD, back. Top me, watch out. Dead in, right now, dead in.
What's top in there, right? Top in there, right?
He fell.
Dead in, 3 shot.
Top A got a melee. He's one shot back A.
Yo, I'm coming B.
Watch out, red.
We got bottom mid now.
So back A, Renegade, Derek.
Watch out, dead in.
Punch, purple. Shotty weak.
One shot. Dead.
Nice, shot of the boys.
Yo, another one. Shotty weak. I hit him 3 times going H.
3 shot each. Catch me personally.
Get up.
Watch out, I'll be 40. He's going cable. Beasters cable, guys. Beasters cable there. He's cable, Beasters. How do you hear Harry Potter? How do you posters cable?
2 minutes, I'm hitting B. I believe B drop, maybe?
We can get a mid now.
And Ivy, kill me.
I like your
Trash item, push up to drop it. Killed me mid.
One got bottom mid.
B-steps coming up.
I saw PD press. I'm trying to
Let it go around the map.
So as you would expect, Shopify sounding hype, sounding energized, but it's OpTic Gaming who have this lead, who are looking strong in this position. Big fights going down around the camo. It kept getting traded back and forth, and it ended up being burnt.
Yeah, OpTic Gaming controlling during all of that listening, and just as we said, it was just a 23-21 game, and OpTic has done so well to make sure Shopify does not get back in this. It's 3 dead, Cycle last player alive here in PD.
8 kills the difference, 12 kills to go for OpTic Gaming. Cycle. Repulse sticky, not quite good enough here for Renegade, but it's good enough to keep himself alive. And here comes the reinforcements
How do you fight
sprinting
against
towards PD.
How do you fight against that? We saw Formal do it earlier too. If you have a repulse sticky, you fly in. You have the option of dealing some damage, just getting out, and guess what? Your 3 teammates are going to fly in for you. Now an 8-kill lead for OpTic Gaming. They're right back in this.
Renegade just consistently changing his last known location. Every time he's seen in a fight, backs down, runs away, takes a different angle. It's so difficult to track on the map. 8 kills, still the difference.
Taking the Jason Bourne approach. Pretty hard to nail this guy down, 41-32, and he's right back in this series as well. He's 13-6 in this game.
Oh.
You get the feeling he's on that same form he was in that first grand final. Perhaps one more camo to play with 8 kills to go for OpTic Gaming.
Takes the one we got with last shot. Last shot, that's a big win. That's a big win. That's a trade that does come in. And Legend off the back of it will be able to secure another camo. OpTic have controlled almost every single camo, and that is why this score is looking like it does.
Legend going to take his time. Absolutely no rush for him. Then you got to call out the Royal 2's weak, and you have a feeling that's going to get flushed out in the L. It does indeed, and they will slowly, once again, pick apart these last few kills. Only 5 kills to go for OpTic.
Now Legend has a little bit of freedom. Gets spotted out by last shot, but it doesn't matter. The help comes in. Cycle does get the back smack, but it's a kill that brings OpTic closer and closer to tying this series up in our reset. Renegade will find the 49th. It's 1 to go here for OpTic. Formal moving towards the pink streak. Picks up that threat seeker, gets the damage in. He takes the 1. Frosty will win it, but surely Legend will move in and clean up this damage. The nade goes down, the headshot comes in, and OpTic tie this one back up. They answer back.
And now this is more what we're used to here, the back and forth gameplay between these two, where you have one team putting on a dominating performance, answered back immediately by OpTic Gaming. They tie the series 1-1. We should mention they had also won that game type on LAN at the Quezon Showdown. They do it again, but not just that. It was a narrow 3-kill win the last time they played this. This time it was 50-39. A dominating win, and you have to think for the green wall as well as the OpTic Gaming players themselves, that is a big win to now just be tied 1-1 again as we'll go into game 3 all knotted up.
And it's Renegade who leads the way again in those statistics. 16-7 for Renegade in that Slayer. A huge performance from him. A Legend again in Slayers just goes so kind of it's always underrated, it feels like, his consistency when it comes to Slayers. 12 and 8 for him, and a lot of the time, like we mentioned, he's not the one who's picking up a sniper rifle off the rip. He's the one who's doing it most of the time with the Bandit and some stickies, just getting the job done. So Legend, again, a great performance in the Slayers. Mr. Consistency when it comes to being positive in those game types.
So impressed with the timing and the pacing of the kills out of OpTic Gaming. As we said, multiple times we saw them just trapping that one single player in PD, for example, and then being able to easily flush that player out. And then keep in mind that those kills were often so late that they have the next spawn rotation very easily because they're killing the fourth player sometimes 5, 6, 7 seconds after the rest of the team. So their next collapse, they'll have a man advantage again. And they were doing so well, just kind of maintaining their own shields, maintaining the timing of their pushes and their collapses, and it led to a really consistent lead for the entire game.
And it led to consistent, like I mentioned, pickups of the camo. Every time we're seeing it on our screens in these replays, it's an OpTic Gaming member who has that power up and is able to make a play off the back of it. And it's not just making a play with camo. You have to give up so much ground if you don't have it, trying to spot it out. You can't look at too many lanes. You have to play close to each other and try and get a trade. And if you're in a position where a team is pushing with a stalker and some grenades, you're so tightly knit that one grenade can do so much damage that opens up the map completely.
Right. Keep in mind, if you were joining us earlier today, around 3 p.m. Central Time, we were in the Elim final, thinking this could be a pretty quick day, maybe one of the earliest Championship Sunday finishes we've seen in quite some time. And Shopify and OpTic, for very good reason, and we're grateful for it, had different plans for us. We're in our second best of 7 if you're just joining us. OpTic Gaming 4-0ing Shopify in your first grand final to send us to a second and tournament deciding best of 7. We wouldn't have it any other way. We're tied up 1-1 going into Stronghold's Recharge.
Now, good news for OpTic fans. Not only are we going back to Strongholds, which looked pretty good for them on live fire, where they dominated Shopify Rebellion a little bit earlier on in the first series. At the Kaysan event that we had just before this one, 250-39 on Stronghold's Recharge in the favor of OpTic Gaming once again. So that is a very good sign for them.
I mean, anyone who watched the Kaysan Showdown will remember that was a shocking turn of events after Shopify was looking so good out of nowhere. OpTic comes with essentially, really a scoreline that shouldn't be happening at this level. 250-39 in Stronghold Recharge the last time these two met on LAN in this game type. They'll be looking to repeat that. Let's take a look at some bracket kill death leaders here from the event.
He is miles ahead. 1.52 Renegade. I think you didn't really need to look at those leaderboards to know who was going to be up there, but a 1.52 when the next closest is your teammate Legend on a 1.19, that is how good Renegade is playing.
Exactly. If you haven't seen this whole weekend and you're wondering, okay, really, these guys keep talking about Renegade, it's a new era, yada, yada, how good is he performing? How well is he doing this weekend? That should sum it up. To be honest, at this level, you shouldn't have players that are a 1.5 plus KD. But that's exactly what Renegade's doing. He's brought a new level of intensity to Championship Sunday, and it is shown.
And remember, this is just the bracket. This isn't including pool play. Right. So this is against the best teams. This is the teams who have fought out of pool play, who are going into that bracket play. And they've had to play a hell of a lot of series as well. This is the crazy thing. It's been that consistent across those games and series.
And look how close it is thereafter, right? As you said, Legend at a 1.19. Everyone else is within 700ths, right? Yeah, 700ths of one another, and then you have Renegade, the outlier. And like we said, we've known what Renegade is capable of through all of Halo 5, through all of Halo Infinite. But it feels like not only is he performing in these games, but I think the best way to say it is that he's brought a new level of consistency to every game, and the 1.52 KD explains that perfectly.
Yeah, just an incredible performance, but he's got to hope that it's a performance which pushes OpTic over the line, because it's one of those tournaments where you look back upon it and it's like, if I'm dropping a 1.52, my job is to kill things. Yeah. And we're not picking up a championship. It's a frustrating end to it for him. I'm sure he'd trade it in for a 0.97 if they win it. He would not care one single bit. But it does show how important his contributions have been to the success. I think the resilience of OpTic Gaming. Some of the series where they were struggling a little bit earlier, Renegade dragged them through those.
He really did. There were times where they needed someone to go off, and he's putting in, once again, not just double-digit numbers, but double positive numbers often. That's the only way you get to a 1.52, is half the time you're going double positive, if not more. He's going to look to do it again here. Once again, Stronghold's Recharge will be your game number 3 and your go-ahead game in the series.
And OpTic Gaming are certainly heavy favorites if history tells us anything when it comes to this game type, and even this game type and map combination. Like we mentioned, last time these two teams met up on this game type, 250 to 39. On LAN, OpTic Gaming took it home.
And as you see, they have played strongholds here at Arlington. Different map, but OpTic did take that game as well, indicating that they are able to play at the pace that they need to. We're underway in game number 3.
Map number 3 of our best of 7, tied up at 1-1, just how you would want it. Eyes on Camo, no surprise, but look at this start. Look how quickly Shopify Rebellion are across the map. They double push tower, they take 3 members down. That Camo's there, and they're gonna get C immediately.
Renegade was last player alive.
Full
Renegade
dead.
also tries to go to B, which is gonna cost them. He doesn't challenge at all, does not get the kill on Camo. Now Frosty here with Camo Shock. Big opportunity for him to start to pull away. They lose AC though, immediately.
OpTic splitting across the map. They do lose AC, like you're saying, but they've got an element of control and a pinch going on here. Frosty has to take down Bound though. Bound's trying to play this one nice and easy. He doesn't have any shields. This is the shot. Royal 2 says, I got you, buddy. You get warm.
We're still 2 dead. Renegade trying to peek Pat Ledge. BC will be flipped, but OpTic doing very well from a disadvantageous position once again to now start flipping B as well.
Look how hard it is to hit Legend. Just G-sliding off of every single surface that's available. Frosty finally will cut him down as he decides to just take a more traditional route and just sprint in front of him. Just says thank you very much.
1v1 I will not tire of watching. Look at Bound wasting no time. Immediately gets the melee before Frosty can get the shot off there in long haul. It was 2 dead for both sides, and a small lead here for Shopify only because OpTic has done so well to fight back. And Bound now 3 dead, and they're going to hold BC. And the game is still just within a few points.
One reflection of what we just seen in the first minute or so of this game. OpTic got to be pretty happy. No Camo, no shock, 4 dead off the rip, and now they're going into a lead. Shopify Rebellion were not able to cement any element of complete control on the map. OpTic kept it scrappy, kept it messy, as Bound flies in for a trade. Trades when you're scoring, never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. It covers a lot of ground in order to get that trade. Also blocks a few spawns in doing so. Legend deals some damage, but has no interest in pursuing further. Instead, we'll just take the grapple, which is dangerous to think about. They're going to start to flip A.
Looking for a triple cap here. 1 dead on either side at the moment. Legend going to fly out towards that Camo, or is he going to say, you can fly towards me? Uses the grapple to grab it, to sneak it away without exposing himself and having to fight. Doesn't get traded out either.
Would have been a big trade. Unfortunately, grapples and gets stuck, but it is a triple cap for OpTic Gaming. C will start to flip, but look at the score. It was just 18-7, and off of all that control, OpTic Gaming now up 81-18.
However, 4 dead. OpTic Gaming will fall, and now you're seeing the triple cap be reversed. B gets converted, A gets converted. Look at the spawns, look at the info. Royal 2 watches 2 OpTic players spawn in front of him. Has to back up and stay alive, but complete control of the map here for Shopify Rebellion.
So well, manages his shields there. Able to stay alive and now able to fight at B yet again. And Shopify now with their own trip cap, and they're right back in this one. They bring the game within 30.
OpTic looking on moving A back into their position, and B though. Forward does get cleared out by Cycle with that grenade, and the reset will come in. Legend now trying to flank, but he gets taken down as well. 3 dead. Bound last alive for OpTic Gaming, and he's not long for this world. He'll fall as well. Shopify Rebellion starting to chain together. 2, 3, 4 deads, and it means complete control once more. The triple cap is owned by them.
Also Bound with a staggered kill with the man advantage continuing, so still 2 dead for OpTic Gaming. They've gotten 3 kills as Shopify since that last kill, and more damage at long haul. The triple cap continues, and they will go into the lead. Perfect timing on the spawn cycling.
And not even that, they step inside of A OpTic Gaming. They have to try and force A to stop the bleeding. It gives an indication of where they're spawning again. So those 2 players have been cut down. OpTic have not had 4 on the map for the last almost minute of this game. The triple cap continues as Frosty starts to warm up with that shock.
Beautiful shot there to get that kill before getting taken down. Finally, C will flip for OpTic, but not before a huge rally. Once again, it was 81-18, and Shopify goes on a 100-point stretch to take the lead narrowly. Camo not burned bottom middle. Frosty on the move.
Frosty will be able to get it as well, because Legend is last alive for OpTic Gaming, and he's not in a position to commit to try and turn that one into their favor. Frosty going to be approached by a couple players. Whoopsie!
Beautifully done there. That's a little bit of mind games on. Oh, not finished though. We'll see if they can finish here on B. Should be able to numbers-wise. It looks like a player going to fly on a whirlpool. It actually is reset in the end, but still scoring at AC. Beautiful mind game there with the camo. Whenever you have a player dropping gold, they're going to traditionally be checking back left bat. He knew that. He goes instead to front left bat and gets a clean back whack.
OpTic fans trying to get behind their boys right now, getting a little bit of momentum back on their side, and with 2 kills falling in their favor, it seems to be working. The 2 turns into 4. Shopify Rebellion 4 dead now, and can OpTic start to assert some dominance that we saw from Shopify in the last 60 seconds or so?
And as we said, this is the back and forth gameplay, that we're looking for and expecting between these 2 teams. And wow, OpTic with very nice bit of control here off of that 4 dead. They might even pick up a few more kills. 3 dead yet again off the back of it. They will continue scoring at AB and continue to chip away at the Shopify lead. It was a 4 dead in the end.
Playing for the 2 cap as well, not overextending too much at this point here, OpTic Gaming. So score is going up. They are getting closer to what Shopify Rebellion have already managed to log on that score. But they don't want to risk that triple cap because they know it's a resource-heavy play. And if it doesn't go well, we've seen the control that Shopify Rebellion can get. OpTic will go into a lead off the back of the double kill from Bound.
How about the baiting and switching? A will flip. We'll see what they try to do here on C. Big decision to make for OpTic Gaming if they continue to pressure A or not.
Yeah, it looks like they don't have the numbers to really pinch this. Frosty's trying to get across to help Cycle out, who's managed to just about escape.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna
Legend now is going to push in, and Legend does get that kill. Cycle, no shields, bottom tower, no nades to flush him out, but it will be OpTic who flip A.
Wow, how about Bound and Legend there working together? They knew they had the right damage at the right angles. Legend was essentially pushing into a 1v2 for a moment. But instead it's Cycle who actually goes tower, allowing A to continue to be open. Double. Formal almost getting the triple there. 1 player left in the pin. That should be an easy cleanup. It is. That's 3 dead. And just like that, OpTic Gaming will go into the lead here and look for the triple cap.
Yeah, Bounds inside a C. They want this triple cap, and Renegade has a shot. And there's not many better players in the world to watch here on Recharge with this shock rifle, especially when he's in this kind of form. 10 and 11 at the moment in this game. But that can change and look a lot more positive, like the 1.5 that he's had throughout this bracket play.
And this lead continues with the AC hold. Shopify needs to find a way to get the break. They do. They get the first 2 kills. Oh boy, but Renegade enters back. Momentary 2v2, 2v1 on the map.
And that stops the push. He gets the stick as well. It's 3 dead again. But it was 4 dead on the side of OpTic Gaming. Last lives on your screen is going to be Frosty, who will be able to flip A. But look at the flood. OpTic get on the map first off that respawn. They are flying towards the pipes, but there's Cycle. He cuts them down.
A double. Beautifully done there.
And now Frosty's got 2 OpTic players inside of the tower to deal with.
The reason Frosty kept engaging there on that angle was they get a very deep spawn in red pipes. They get a great spawn that they're able to take advantage of at gold. However, OpTic answers back. They get 2 dead as well.
Royal 2 just made a play and a half. He not only gets that kill, avoids the bolt from the green gun, but gets the kill and manages to convert C. Now he's just trying to back up. He knows that OpTic still have members around. Bound in front of him, he'll take him down, and now Shopify turn their attention to flipping A. The scores are getting closer and closer, but here's Formal.
Wow.
The trade comes in, 3 dead for OpTic.
Somehow Royal hits that. Royal 2 hits that insta. Legend was your last player alive in B and needs to try to hold off what will be a very strong push in the end. Once again, it's going to be staggered. If Bound dies here, this is trouble for OpTic Gaming.
Bound does die, and they're spawning on the long haul. 3 dead for OpTic Gaming. Last player alive is Legend, who's just come off respawn actually at Elevator because last shot is inside of C. Royal 2 with the camo as well is going to finish this off, and now everybody from OpTic is split across at Elevator. They are spawning all over the place at the moment, OpTic, and the triple cap is back for Shopify. They could go into a lead in a few seconds' time.
Still staggered spawns here for OpTic. They need to wait for each other. Formal goes in right away and is still 2 dead. Continues slay control coming in from Shopify. They will go into a lead here.
OpTic trying to wrestle C back. Last shot gets the kill onto Renegade. And even though C is being converted, the double cap of A and B is still here with 4 alive for Shopify Rebellion. If they hold this push from OpTic Gaming, this could be them going up 2-1 in this series.
Watch the damage, watch the kill feed. It's another first pick coming in from Cycle. That could actually seal the deal. Let's watch these next few kills.
Oh, look at the movement here. He knows how important this kill is on Formal. It stops them getting anywhere near A. They had committed towards A. Elsewhere, they're inside a C. Shopify are looking for blood. OpTic Gaming are 3 dead. Bound is the last alive, and Royal 2 is sliding his way in. Gets the reset, takes down Formal as well. Shopify Rebellion will close out the map. They go up 2-1. And I tell you what, we've got to stop looking at stats at this point, because Shopify, the way they played that, especially that endgame, was absolutely magnificent.
250 to 196 is your final score. It's a massive come from behind win several times in that game. Let's not forget, they were trailing 81-18, later 150-110, and they bring the game back, not just with control, but I think they also really, not only picking off that first spawner, didn't give OpTic a second to breathe. Trying to make something happen, trying to get out of their spawn cycle, but always collapsing on the first spawner. OpTic also not waiting for each other, trying to make something happen and maybe needed a little bit more time. Shopify with a fantastic end game to take game number 3. They lead 2-1.
Royal 2, 21 and 12 for him. Also, most assists in the game. Most of the bullets felt by OpTic Gaming members were coming from the guns of Royal 2 in that game. And I think you're right, there was a couple of moments where that blender was just devastating for OpTic Gaming. Shopify Rebellion kept split spawning them across the map. They would pick up 2 kills on spawners, fly across the map as a 4, and keep that going back and forth for what felt like 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 spawn cycles for OpTic.
Amazing back and forth here. You could just tell by the way that the scoreboard goes, right? Then you see Shopify off of a triple cap go into the lead by quite a margin. Shots like that from Frosty as well. Later on, it's still Shopify leading, and OpTic is about to go on a huge run of their own here, and just really tug-of-war style gameplay back and forth.
This is a beautiful double kill here. This is the definition of target prioritization coming in from
Twitch was perfect.
Really, really good from them.
And once again, 192-168 at this point. OpTic leading here by nearly 30, just around the 200-point mark.
A couple of decisions made by Royal 2 in that A game I just want to talk about as well. You saw Formal cut towards Turbine. He recognized the most important kill on the map with that grapple was Formal, because if a fight gets lost in tower, OpTic Gaming can pitch onto A, and then they can fight back towards B. It's a problem. If he takes Formal down, he knows that numbers will be favorable to Shopify Rebellion, even if they have to scrap towards B a little bit later on. So it's, again, just brilliant decision-making from Royal 2 in that moment. And this is where we find ourselves. 2-1 up Shopify Rebellion as we head back to live fire, but this time it's all about the oddball.
You saw that pop off from last shot, once again reminding you just how much this means to them. The only 2 players last shot in cycle looking for their first LAN win at a major. So there's a little bit extra on the line for them. Taking a look here at oddball in the winners quarterfinal between these 2 teams and how that game type went.
Well, it went to OpTic 2-0, so they feel pretty good on this. And looking at the leaderboards and the stats and all of that good stuff, it felt like outslaying heavily was what OpTic Gaming were doing. Renegade with a 1.71, by the way, as if his average wasn't good. That one bumped the average up a little bit.
It certainly did, and safe to say that if you're on the Shopify side of the stage, now that you have this lead, you need to find a way to make sure that Renegade is not a devastating factor with a KD like that, anywhere near that, if we're honest, if they want to take this game yet again. Shopify with a big opportunity to not just keep this lead, but extend it. However, OpTic Gaming knows they do not want to go even further down in this series. If they tie it here, excuse me, if they win here, we'll be all tied up heading into the latter half of the series.
Well, get ready for a grueler here. This is going to be, you get the feeling, a long, long game of oddball. Of course, that snipe is going to influence a lot of where that timer does go. This feels like a big, big game in this series. Massive, massive game.
A big game. We're underway here, and the one thing I'm going to be looking at between these 2 teams at the end of that game, I think there was a few times where OpTic Gaming needed to wait just a second for one another. They were trying to help the one player who was alive. In doing so, they kept themselves in the blender. Oddball, of course, a game type where you need to apply that similar philosophy as well. There are times to go, and there are times to wait. We'll see how OpTic Gaming looks with their pacing here in ball.
Shopify get the sniper rifle by the looks of things off of the break. It's going to be Royal 2, the man who just had an exceptional performance in our previous game, who has been hot with this weapon all finals long. Think about the first game, that assault that we saw on Fortress. Royal 2 with a sniper rifle in the armory. Well, this time he's got a chance to go back and do some more work with it. He doesn't have to worry about the opposition having a sniper because there's only one of them here on live fire.
Royal 2 sets the record for the longest hard scope at the C-Plat quick jump in history of play so far. And once again, I think a lot of people will have noticed, if you've been watching a lot of Halo Infinite, especially this season, the conservative openings from these 2 teams, right? Really slow off the opening because each team just looking for solid control.
Well, OpTic trying to scurry away with that ball back towards House and Garage. Renegade being an awkward kill, but last shot, seems like it doesn't matter how you move, that reticle does not move off of your body if you find him.
Amazing shots indeed. Still 2 dead here. Looking for a little bit more control before they rotate the ball back. Pressure going to be coming from Big Door in just a second.
Of course, you got to kill him. Being sneaky in the back of the base there. That might have bought Bound enough time to get that trade and keep the numbers scrappy where that oddball finds itself. 2 down on either side once again. As if you needed an indication of how scrappy this fight has been.
Legend didn't see him in the back window. Royal 2 gets to pick a very, very nice bait. And like we said, there's going to be times where you need to make plays like that. And that's going to blow things wide open. Now 3 dead for OpTic Gaming, all because Royal 2 sits in back A, sits in window, and catches Legend off guard. They will continue scoring.
The irony is, Legend was the one back on recharge in the first series. You're not listening, he said, make sure we're checking our corners.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to follow your own advice. 16 points have been put on the board, but OpTic have managed to break. OpTic have managed to get that odd ball into a neutral position. As the first kills are traded out between Renegade and Cycle. Formal looking for bodies at the moment. Can't really find anyone. Sticks someone through the QT.
You might have the QT, but you're not going to get away from that reaction time. What a way to handle a QT player. 2 dead from both sides yet again.
It's just trade after trade after trade after trade at the moment. Last shot though, he's going to win that fight. Camo pop in as well, and Shopify are going to be sat on top of it. Cycle will get it, and now they can move that old ball away. They feel they have everything they need to get a little bit of time on the board here.
Formal saw him. You can tell Formal was able to eagle eye. However, it's good damage coming out. Cycle might get pinched here. Gonna try to stay alive. That ball essentially was played by Shopify. Ooh, Cycle's trying to stay alive here.
He is staying alive here. Gets a beat down when really he had no right to. Legend last alive, and he's just come off respawn as well. We'll have an LOS on this ball.
Really well handled there by Shopify. They only had 1 camo player alive around the ball. Cycle bought up a lot of time, and they essentially play the ball around scoreboard to maintain the 20-4 lead. And once again, it's low scoring for these two, low scoring for any level, because of how these teams are training, like you say, Mark.
Triple kill for Bound, or an unofficial one for sure, will open the door here for OpTic to get that ball in the hands of Renegade. 20 points on the board for Shopify, 11 points on the board for OpTic. Such a low-scoring game, and you can expect that with how many trades we are seeing in these team fights.
It's amazing, and honestly, as we talk about it a lot, the small margins, but you're seeing them perfectly displayed for you, that it is expected that each player will be able to get and at least do the expected amount of damage and kills, and you're seeing them just statistically hit that perfectly. Speaking of shots, Legend gonna try to burn some ammo now. Also gets a stick, of course he does, and that's what we're talking about. Every kill you have to work for so hard, because they're gonna find a way to eke out extra damage. OpTic Gaming now scoring, about to tie the game.
I just give you an indication as well. Like, Legend has to do something like that for OpTic to get 2 or 3 seconds of ball time. That's how tight this game is. That's how evenly matched these two teams are. 20-15 of 5 points with 1 minute 30 left on the game clock, by the way.
I think everyone's starting to watch the game clock now with only 1:26 left. This is one of the lowest scoring games, not just of the weekend, but ever probably in an oddball in a grand final.
Well, it was 3 dead for OpTic momentarily, and maybe this is going to be the biggest hold of the game. Coming in for Shopify Rebellion. Players flying through the big door. Bound doesn't get taken down, nor does Formal. Legend gets one, and just as I think it's going to be a hold for Shopify, it's 3 dead. For Shopify, OpTic break cleanly, and now OpTic have that ball in their hands.
Frosty finally taken down as well. Royal 2 does respond though. Frosty stays alive long enough to get enough damage where the push is still coming here. Renegade still with QT, and somehow, with 70 seconds left, it's just 28-21.
Perfect shots from him, has the QT away, and I don't think he really wanted to, knowing where that odd ball is.
Camo up.
Camo is coming up, like you say. Frosty's going to find Renegade, and there's going to be 2 players in the death screen for OpTic Gaming. I think Frosty and the rest of Shopify have recognized that if we just play Slayer for 50 seconds here, we win these fights, we win this round.
I think Formal has camo. We'll take a look if that's still the case. It's going to be a big factor right now with 43 seconds left.
Reset bottom middle makes it even more difficult for OpTic to get access to it. Renegade gets that first kill though, Formal gets the second, and you're quite right. Formal does have that camo. Legend has that ball in his hands, and Cycle is the last alive for Shopify. 30 seconds left on the game clock, but OpTic finally will get that ball for long enough to go into a lead.
They go back into the lead. What a huge use of patient camo from Formal yet again. We've seen him do it so many times, but the game is not over just yet. 30 seconds on the game clock, but potentially a lot more scoring yet to happen.
Legend will get the first. 2 players going to be pushing the dummies, gives information to OpTic Gaming about where this push is coming in, and it's 15 seconds to hold. 15 seconds to deny Shopify getting near that oddball, and they will be up by 1 here. He is 10 seconds into single digits now. OpTic running that ball away from Shopify.
Here comes the push. Legend needs to try to watch this angle. He's going to see 8 bags players. That's a big kill. More damage. There's 1 player left here in green.
Not going to get that near that oddball, and it's going to be OpTic who do close it out in one of the lowest scoring oddball rounds you will see in the Halo Championship Series, but OpTic will claim it as their own.
Gotta say, it really is amazing to see. We talked about it a lot about the current meta of Halo Infinite is, first of all, you need to be ready to play so fast, but there are times where you need to be patient. You need to be slow and get control. And these two teams are doing it better than we've ever seen here in the HCS.
Formal immediately getting a little bit of ball time, by the way, because he's wrapping it back towards green. That's where the players from OpTic Gaming find themselves. And Frosty, with this sniper rifle, needs to start showing us why he is talked about as being the form player. Doesn't get it done this time, and Bound will collect that bounty now with the sniper rifle in his hand. He can lock down that camo lane.
Nice little body coming in from Bound. As we said, so difficult to push him, and the team is there to clean it up. One dead for each side.
Another body, another kill. Doesn't get traded, doesn't get a beatdown landed on him as well. Spike grenade should keep him alive for a few seconds, but more importantly, it's allowed Renegade to move in, pick that camo up, and OpTic picking up multiple kills, have oddball in the hands of Formal again.
Was two dead for just a moment here, but Renegade with the camo and the lead. This is very big in round number 2. Let's get into a listen and hear the hold.
Ball dropped. Enemy has the ball.
Just tires.
You could go bottom mid.
We have ball. We have ball.
Watch at demi-door, watch at demi-door. He's demi-door still. Demi-door. Go bottom mid. Bottom mid, demi-door. Could be right on him, guys.
Bottom mid 20.
Could be right, could be right. He must one big, he must one big.
I spent green, guys. He might be big.
We're coming to watch, we're coming to watch.
One shot screen. You guys are screens. Nice. Bottom is up. We're watching him at.
I think Z-Plat has guy, I'm not here. I hear him. Take A-Plat. Back up in. I'll see you soon.
Might play here. I'm here, Sabri.
I'm going top mid, second week.
Watch
Yeah, two screens. Two on mat. Ready?
On the dome, push shot.
Cable's up now.
Nice, there's behind you on the west street.
On camera right now, one shot. Trying to rotate ball to
Trading one, guys, roll two.
He has camera on, man.
Trading one, roll two.
Yo, what's up? He's missing Psycho camera.
Trading one, two.
Do that, guys. Do that. Psycho camera. Sniper and 5, guys. Sniper. I can
Right here, tire, check. Right here, tire, crossing.
On camera.
Tire, crossing. Tire, shot.
Oh my god!
Go be top back.
Keep good. Take our time here.
Top it. Middle shot.
Ball dropped.
Yeah, one can be wide ball.
Not a ball right. Yeah, bounce.
Cut cycle.
Fine, live here.
Shit, well, it's fine.
Nice.
Yo, watch out.
Next.
Top base, Could be big man, could be big.
Both weak.
Enemy
You guys on ball. Do you want ball? One touch.
OpTic Gaming, 60 points on the board here. You can hear the comms. They sound pretty good, as you would expect at this stage of a grand final with how much is on the line. But it's Shopify who, in the last 30 seconds or so, have just started to get a bit of ball time. And there's a nuke from Royal 2.
What should have been a trade and a play ball instead becomes a huge Shopify advantage and opportunity. And what a shot. Absolutely dances around Formal. And now just like that, we're back to around a 40-point game.
Still the ball in their hands.
Enemy has
Here's Shopify. OpTic just got to be careful here. Frosty trying to fly out. Last shot's going to find a kill. QT's back to green. Grenade goes back towards Frosty. Renegade and Formal find kills. It's 3 dead for Shopify. OpTic near that oddball bottom middle as well. Renegade is immediately on the case.
Roll 2 with a very important kill there to just even things up just a bit here on the push. You heard Lunchbox starting to listen and saying, let's take our time here, guys. They have allowed Shopify to come back within 30, but OpTic Gaming firmly scoring once again. It's a 4v4 push, and the first pick comes in for OpTic Gaming.
Cycle.
ball dropped.
Gets put in his back there by Formal. Such an important kill for him. Renegade now in an important one of his own, and he'll win that. 3 dead for Shopify Rebellion. 75 points and rising here for OpTic Gaming. Already 1 round to the good here. This round would put them on even footing in this series if they could close out.
Not the first time that Shopify tried to go very fast, and it cost them again in this game. And that's why we see OpTic Gaming leading 82-33. Still a lot of time on the game clock, however, so this one's not over. Legend is your last player alive here for OpTic Gaming.
Last alive, trying to buy time, trying to wait for spawns to come in, and the spawns do come in. Shot finds one though, Legend, no shields. Cycle, no shields. Who's gonna win this one? It's Cycle, and how important could that be? For Shopify Rebellion, they keep the ball close. They keep themselves clustered up together with that ball in their hands. And they might give themselves a chance here.
And they get the late kill on Formal here in Rat as well. Formal is only just spawning right now, so the kills will continue to be traded out. However, Cycle's last player alive. He needs to have a very good rotation here towards teammates.
Tries to hit the G-slide, might have just missed that one. And down the chimney, it's not Santa Claus, it's going to be Legend who falls and steals that odd ball away. Now rotating it back to tower. We haven't seen the odd ball near the tower many times in this game so far, and now he doubles back. 2 dead for Shopify Rebellion. OpTic getting closer and closer to a map win here.
Barring a miracle here from Cyclone Royal 2, this should be the round.
Legend has that ball in his hands. No one from Shopify is going to tear this one out of his. And Legend will hold that odd ball. OpTic will hold the dub. And surprise, surprise, we are all tied up.
And this is how this rivalry has usually felt.
Right.
Just when you think someone might pull away, no. Series is tied up. Tied up 2-2 here. Just like we saw online leading up to this event. Just like we saw at the case on Showdown. It's another big win for OpTic Gaming. 133-73 in terms of total score. But 2 rounds to 0, and the stats did not lie. Speaking of stats, Legend, 27-16 for him. What a performance.
A lot of ball time, if I wasn't mistaken, for him as well in that game. This is just, this series, these 2 teams, just, it's an absolute pleasure to watch it. And I think everyone who's watching is kind of just taking it in and realizing how special these kind of series are. It's WrestleMania weekend at the moment, and there's a chant that goes down when there's a good match, like fight forever. I feel like play forever is kind of the motto when you watch these 2 teams going against each other. You could watch this series go on and on and on because it is so special. What we're seeing from them both, it is back and forth, it is fights, it is bullets, it's moments that completely change the games. And Legend again, in these moments, seems to be a player stepping up this time around for OpTic.
Man, a highlight reel coming out of so many players on OpTic Gaming.
Sticks him on the knee here, by the way.
In the 2-0 win, you saw that, also the stick on the QT player as well. You can't get out of dodge fast enough when you're going up against Formal. That was great camo play, by the way, against Formal. Really methodical grab of the camo and usage of it. And it felt like they were just firmly in control of that game yet again. Let's not forget, earlier they found themselves on the receiving end of a 2-0 loss. Fortress Bomb, instead this time it was 2 rounds to 0 for Oddball Live Fire. And once again, we got that extended listening with the entire OpTic side. It felt like it came at the perfect time because they were just putting together perfect plays, perfect control, perfect comms as well.
Very, very impressive stuff from OpTic Gaming, and I think the impressive thing for OpTic is the fact that it seems like what happens in the previous game doesn't affect the next, and the same exact thing can be said to Shopify Rebellion right now. This shot from Royal 2, by the way.
for the killing spree as well.
So many medals just popped up on his screen. I don't actually know what he did.
Unbelievable. Also, this return to sender from Legend was fantastic. It was all OpTic Gaming all the way in our game number 4. As we get ready for game number 9 of the total series so far. Slayer on Solitude. Let's not forget we saw these 2 teams play this game type as well. OpTic taking it 50-37. That case on. Have also seen them play this earlier this weekend. We saw that 49-49 Slayer as well. Some team nades on the side of OpTic Gaming. They're going to be looking to have a very different game here.
Yeah, let's not do that again. That's not really how anyone wants to see this game end with a team nade. Let's hope the lunch has just whispered that in the ear of a couple of players before they get underway here, but we are all tied up. Game number 5. This is, just enjoy it, everyone, just enjoy it.
These 2 teams tied 2-2, head-to-head at Arlington here. Solitude Slayer, Shopify Rebellion with maybe a tiny bit of a statistical lead, but this one is going to go down to the wire as well. Just in case you didn't catch it in the winner's bracket earlier on in the quarterfinal, It was a 49-49 team nade coming in from Legend against Renegade, which gave an easy kill to Royal 2 to end game number 2, which, by the way, would have been a 3-0 OpTic win in the upper bracket had things gone differently. So already a lot of history between these two. Cycle doesn't get the camo because Legend threads the needle over the pillar on the camo.
Mistake from Legend. He's going to look to right that mistake. And like you say, it's crazy that this game type is the one that decided if OpTic went home 3-0, feeling good, nice early night. And instead, they were here late after getting in early and have to fight their way through every single opponent that came up against them. SSG dealt with, Nemesis, revenge taken, and of course, FaZe in elimination finals as well, 3-0. They just kept picking up steam, kept picking up momentum. And I tell you what, that momentum's looking pretty good at the start of this one. 7-3 with Legend. 3-0 and a shock rifle in his hands.
Really nicely done. They're not afraid to continue rotating here. They've also trapped 2 players here on Yard and Glass, and they're going to start to pick up those kills as well. 1 more player here in the Yard VR. Should be quick work. It is indeed. That means 9-4 lead here for OpTic.
Legend trying to just pre-shoot that angle, thinking that Royal 2 might peek for a second time, but Royal 2 just not given that opportunity. And instead finds a kill of his own. Legend just outputting so much damage at the moment, 4-0, but influencing a lot of damage across the map for his teammates as well.
Moments ago, Renegade was 0-4-1. Big assist coming in from him. Bit of a brawl in Glass. Formal wants to pick up all 3 of these if he can, but in the end, happy to get an assist on that one. Now 11-8, so a little bit closer here. Shopify somehow fighting out of some pretty tricky angles.
One thing that's really notable is the pace of this game. Like, both teams just flying at each other so far. Everyone wants to just get the upper hand. They want to flex their muscles a little bit here, but nobody's seemingly getting too much of a lead going their way. OpTic do, of course, have that lead, but Shopify keep trading, and now we find ourselves within 2.
Wow, Renegade last player alive. Bound gets trapped from a driveway truck angle. Didn't expect that one. Renegade last player alive. He has a teammate spawning loop as well, so they might even get pinched here somehow. Once again, Teamfire allows them to trade continually. However, most importantly, what was just a 10-4 lead or so is now 16-13 off of a double kill coming in. He doesn't burn the camo either. This is a big moment in the game. 3 dead for Shopify. Camo does get popped by Legend. Cycle was your first spawner. It's a 5-kill lead for OpTic with the camo. They could run away with it here.
OpTic timed those kills perfectly. Around that camo popping up on the map. They pick up the 3 dead, they get the camo, they back-to-back 3 dead. Shopify Rebellion, and that is why you're seeing that 6-kill advantage now that they have in the game. Legend, he's just all about info. I'm sure that he's got a pretty good indication without the camo about where these spawns are coming in and around blue. But he has a chance here to clean up some of the damage his teammates are doing. Just doesn't want to get stuck, gets 2 in that situation. Shopify Rebellion, 2 dead once again.
Royal 2 gets that audio cue and knew he needed to fly out to try to neutralize the player there. In the end, they do trade, but not before a lot of damage is done in favor of OpTic Gaming. 23-15, and as you said, it was managed and controlled chaos from both of these sides, but it's clear that OpTic Gaming has come out ahead with quite a sizable lead.
Renegades got the second shot rifle of the game as well. Legend had to go the first time around. Let's see if the Demon can do it a little bit better this time around. Rechallenges Cycle, a big kill from him. Maybe just a touch of overconfidence.
I was going to say, we saw conservative Renegade earlier. That was definitely aggro Renegade. But hey, when you have a cushion like this, you can get away with plays like that. 26-18 now.
So when you're dropping 1.52s across the tournament, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Again, something to highlight here. OpTic Gaming in the lead, of course, but it's Formal with a big performance so far in this Slayer once more. We've kind of highlighted some of the questions that have been posed and we'd seen about those big game performances in those Slayers where he's just let the side down a little bit. Well, no signs of that whatsoever here in Arlington. 7-5 as they continue to lead by 6 here. Cameron pops. I think Shopify might grab that one.
This is a big opportunity here. Now only down by 7, and the game is still within reach. And what Last Shot does with this camo, alongside his spawners, is going to be really, really influential on how the rest of this game plays out.
Fortunately for him, like 2 teammates just fell alongside it, so he can't extend, he can't go forward because there's going to be multiple players if he gets called out and a bullet taken, they're just going to collapse onto him and it becomes a trade.
Look at the OpTic turtle. They're going to sit in Cafe in blue and they're going to make camo come to them. They're going to waste all the camo time and they're going to wait also the advantage. Look at that. It's a beautifully handled camo. Well managed there by all of OpTic Gaming. No kills recorded alongside the camo.
And Last Shot with that camo doesn't even get a trade in that situation. Wow. Royal 2 and Frosty will pick up a couple of kills, but the lead is continuing to extend here for OpTic Gaming. Legend finds one, but here, all of a sudden, comes Shopify Rebellion. They flood, They managed to get the kills. It was 4 dead for OpTic Gaming. And now it's just a 5-kill game with everybody spawning together. They have the pinch here, and they are starting to split spawn OpTic. 2 alive on the map, just trying to hide, trying to stay alive. They want 4 on the map desperately here, OpTic.
Wow, this game is absolutely flipped on its head here. Here comes OpTic trying to fight out of Hotel with all 8 players alive. Let's go do it. Listen with OpTic Gaming.
It's on that truck.
Kill truck.
One truck and flash. We're done, guys.
Yo, listen, one nest, one going blue. They're gonna push us. They're gonna push you. Careful. Gonna be posters. One is posters. We should play. We're done.
Nice, do that, guys.
We're good. Good be yard.
You're
Let him spawn blue. Can we just show for a second?
Yeah.
I have shot.
Yo, Bound, get out. Yo, they might try to get me.
Yeah, they're in hotel.
Hotel.
I'm pushing through, guys. First, on top go. I'm making
Watch out.
live. Don't fuck that.
We're pushing. We are pushing.
One shot,
Alright, we can't push that. We might not be able to push that.
Yeah, I'm fucking up. Yeah, we're good. You guys.
Watch over. Bottom, priest.
Good shot, Mark.
One's alert. Yeah, look. Should be trapped.
Well,
Split nest.
One shot.
I'm pushing shot.
Yo, hotel.
Blue guys.
Can we slow down a little bit, Formal says in the listening, and then he takes the game over. The shock rifle, the camo, leaves him at 14 and 9, and it puts OpTic into the lead in this series. They take the Slayer, and it's Formal who leads the way.
And you can read the lips on Formal. Very happy with the team after that one. They take control, they take over. 50-38 is your final score, and in doing so, they take the series lead at 3-2. And we don't need to tell you watching in the arena or at home, there is so much riding on this series. This team assembled to break the second place curse that OpTic Gaming was subjected to all of 2024. And with games like that, they now find themselves only 1 game away from taking the title.
1 more game. OpTic Gaming, so close. And this would be one of the most historic, I think, tournament victories that we've seen in quite some time. Think about, again, what OpTic have had to go through.
Exactly.
It's been crazy. Let's just start with the second place curse, right? That consistent story that was all of last year for the organization, for Formal in particular. Come into this season, look pretty good. Then all of a sudden, Shopify Rebellion pop up, start winning the onlines. We get to the first event, which is a little table setting, a little taster for the season. They come in second place, even though they split games. It's still second place. They then come into this event, they get beaten by Nemesis. An upset, we have to say. Nemesis were great, and have to go on this insane elimination bracket run with a power outage, which means they have to come back first thing in the morning, about 8 a.m.
Yes.
Finish that series out, which they lose. They then have to keep going,
all day.
fight their way through all day. They play their last series at about 10, 11
I would say around 14 hours later, the same day, OpTic Gaming was in the elimination bracket, still fighting through just to get to today.
And then getting to today, they have to go through phase. They look great. It's been a historical run. And then they get to the grand finals. Shopify Rebellion, who have had their number so far this season.
Through SSG as well.
Through SSG as well. Apologies. They not only reset the bracket, they 4-0. It's one of the most dominant first performances we've seen in a final. And they're doing it here in front of their home crowd. They're doing it here in front of Maniac and the watch party. Shout out Collects, Lethal, and of course APG as well, holding it down. But there's still one thing missing, Andy. And that is one more game. One more game to call themselves champions and finish what has been the most ridiculous story and tournament run that we have seen in quite some time.
Could not agree more. The road that they have taken here, especially when you add the backstory of this roster assembling and dismantling a team that had just won a $1 million world championship, to then fight the road that they've fought, to have lost to Shopify earlier. All the talk, all the chatter, all the grinding, as we said, yesterday was probably a 14 to 15 hour day for OpTic Gaming in the elimination bracket, but it only made them stronger, as we saw. Amazing games all day today. The 4-0 and now fighting for their lives here in the second series. But how about these last two games? It's a huge, huge turnaround for OpTic Gaming, now only one game away from taking the first major of the season.
Now I have to think about the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
If Shopify come back here, boy, it's not going to be a nice place to be for OpTic Gaming. It's going to be a very, very bitter pill to swallow after everything they've gone through to get to this point. Now, CTF Forbidden is going to be the game type that we go to. It's a game type which is very kind of unique when it comes to capture the flag game types in Halo Infinite. You've got dual snipers, you've got an overshield, but you also have the ability to take games over. You can double cap. And before you know it, that game, that CTF Forbidden can be done. And we're into, if it goes the way of Shopify Rebellion, a game number 7, Slayer Recharge, where your head is all over the place.
I am so glad this is game number 6.
Same.
This is such a visceral, in-your-face, dual sniper, fast-paced CTF match, and it's the perfect game type to decide if we go to a game number 7 or not. Take a look here at the flag cap leaders. It's Legend with 7 on the board. And also in this lobby, of course, World 2 and Last Shot not far behind as OpTic Gaming retakes the stage.
They will not need to be told what needs to be done. One more game. One more game is all they need. For Shopify Rebellion, send it the distance. Make OpTic sweat. Steal it away from under them. And I think you're right. CTF Forbidden being this game type is, oh yeah, like you say, it is going to be two just giants just headbutting each other mid-map. And you're going to have the chance for those big moments that are going to decide if this tournament continues or if we'll be crowning our first major champion of the year.
And we should really mention LAN records so far, including the case on Showdown. Shopify Rebellion 5-2 in CTF, OpTic Gaming 4-4. So if we are to believe that there is any statistical advantage here, we've learned that we can often throw. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've seen Shopify dominant on CTF with more than a 2x record in terms of win-loss. OpTic Gaming even at 4-4. So we could get to a game number 7, but it's going to come down to these 12 minutes. And you can tell with that expression on Last Shot's face. They are so close, he and Cycle, as they continue to write their careers, still at such a young age, trying to strip a championship off of the veterans on the other side of the stage. And OpTic Gaming, they know they want to end it here. They do not want to go to a game number 7.
What an experience this is for Cycle and Last Shot for your first finals as well.
Yeah.
They're going to take a lot away from this, regardless of which way we finally award that trophy that sat in the middle of this stage. This could well be the final game here in Arlington. OpTic Gaming, if they take it, will reset the bracket and become your champions in one of the craziest tournament runs you have ever seen. But if you've watched these two teams throw down, ever since these rosters came together, you will know and you will feel that maybe, just maybe, there's another twist here.
Take a look at this. Arlington CTF record's different from the total 2025 record. OpTic Gaming with a slight advantage at 4-2. More games played, of course, over Shopify's 3-2. So, as we said, it could not be closer. We're underway in game number 6. OpTic Gaming 1 game away. Shopify looking to close here to force a game number 7.
Will it be elation or will we see a little bit of a delay on who we are etching the name of?
Overshield
The
burned.
trophy on that stage. Renegade's going to grab that sniper rifle. 2 dead though for OpTic Gaming off the rip.
Again, tries to go for the 360 under pressure, however. Frosty knows he needs to grab that sniper rifle. There's 2 dead here for OpTic. Bound, staying alive top sewers.
This is the OpTic sniper rifle.
Oh boy!
This is not good news
4
for
dead.
OpTic. It's 4 dead. They're spawning in the back of the base. 2 snipers in the hands of Shopify Rebellion as well. You can see the bullet traces flying through the skies. Royal 2 will find one on a spawner. Frosty just delaying it by destroying the body of Legend. This one's going home. Cycle runs it home. Shopify strike first.
49 seconds flat on the first flag cap. Shopify wasting absolutely no time, and you just saw Frosty just tucked back into the lily pad. They're trying to stay alive long enough, wants to do it again.
An incredible response from Shopify Rebellion. First, like you say, 40 seconds or so in this game, they get that flag cap. Formal though, aggressively pushing through the hut towards the Mohawk. He's going to pick up a kill, and Legend and Bound follow suit. Last player alive is going to be last shot, and even though it was a scary start, they get the kills required to get that flag moving. But as you say, big kill from last shot.
Not even a trade from last shot. Beautifully done. He was the only hope for Shopify to stop that flag from going straight up the main ramp. And instead, he not only gets the kill, stays alive, and allows his team to push out of the base here. It's a big individual effort. He also leads the game and the team in kills here at 5-2.
Well, it seems the snipers have been put away for a few moments. The ammo has been used up, which means it's all about the grenades. It's all about the bandit. It's all about control of top middle as this overshield is coming up. You can see OpTic do not want to progress on the map. They want to hold this position, knowing how important that power-up can be.
Last shot still alive in the exact same spot. Overshield should be a clean grab, and they're grabbing it as they are running it with 3 dead. This flag, based on the numbers alone, should absolutely go.
Nobody in position outside of last shot. He's going to get spotted out. He's going to be cut down, and even though it's Shopify who strike first, here comes the counter punch from OpTic Gaming. Renegade slide this one in. We are tied up at 1-1 here on CTF Forbidden.
Formal finally taken down, but Legend still has Overshield to play with. He does lose 2 teammates. However, this should be just enough positioning-wise in terms of the comp that they'll be able to get recontrol of their base.
So the Overshield is converted into a flag cap. Although you feel like maybe they were going to get that flag cap even without the Overshield, with the Slays and the timing of them and the way that they got that flag moving almost immediately. Sniper rifles coming up pretty soon as well. We've seen Shopify really take advantage of that. Cycle will lose the 1v1 to Legend. And it's Royal 2 who starts running this flag. Interestingly, through the sewers by the looks of things, as OpTic find themselves 2 dead.
Brown needs to stay alive here, top middle. Was 2 dead for both sides momentarily. Let's see what Formal can do.
No one with the sniper control, though, for Shopify Rebellion. So Formal knows he hasn't got to worry about that weapon going against him. He hasn't got to worry about a sniper bullet coming his way. Renegade has overextended himself and has got a flagpole on the other side of the map. Really interesting split of resources across the map from both teams here.
Very good pressure from Cycle will allow, presumably, a player to grab snipe on the Shopify side of the map. It's Frosty's a bit late, though. Big kill from Formal. He wraps back there, pings exactly where the sniper rifle is.
And 2 dead, though. And Formal would somehow, what on earth? Somehow kills Royal 2.
I mean, he hits it in such a small frame, I don't even think it was visible on our monitors. That was unbelievable effort from Formal to hit that no-scope before getting taken down.
Overshield coming up. Commander flag cap. Last time we saw it being collected by OpTic Gaming. Frosty with this sniper rifle in his hand. You've just heard the pop of the Overshield, but where has it gone? Royal 2 has collected it. 3v3 on the map right now. Formal trying to push, trying to take maybe attention away from the OpTic base towards the Shopify one himself.
And they're getting the kills as well. Bound just picked up another one. Finally, Formal is cleaned out, though, so they know the player is not behind them. However, still more work to be done if they want to get a flagpole here.
Royal 2 using these sticks, these logs, these branches to climb back towards top middle. He gets one as OpTic will be 2 dead, but so will Shopify Rebellion. Big 1v1, Legend trying to slide and take one to the grave with him. Formal first one off the respawn here, going to try and just stay alive long enough for OpTic to get on the map, but Cycle has this sniper rifle. Spots Bound out, but just the timing eluded him as he went out of that scope. Bound will survive.
Only 1 shot left, it doesn't connect here. In the end, good patience from OpTic. They shut down that play from Cycle, and here they come top mid. Legend does not need an invitation. He is in your base.
You can see exactly why he's got the most black balls, right? He is immediately turning his attention towards the objective. He knows that if the kills are there, he's got to use that timing window to get the objective moving and then think about what happens afterwards. 2 dead here for Shopify. Formal.
Oh my.
He's running that flag, by the way. And this might be an opportunity to go 2-1 up in this game. Cycle versus Renegade. Renegade will win that, and he's starting to get loud about it as well. Formal, by the way, as you can see on the indicator, as that flag back towards the base, he's running it to the front. He's jumping straight in. It's OpTic, who are now one flag away from becoming your champions here in Arlington.
And just like that, the game-winning flag on the board. Whether they get this last flag as the green wall chant erupts here in Arlington, or they play the clock, the win condition is on the board.
The tournament is in OpTic's hands. Overshield coming up right now. Cycle trying to contest Formal for it. Top middle, but Formal picks up the kill. He gets the killing spree. He gets the overshield. And OpTic might be thinking about closing this one out, but there's a back smack. But Bound's running this one. Bound is running this one. He's trying to be sneaky. He's trying to get this flag moving.
Very big back whack indeed. Frosty tries to make an angle happen from Swamp.
3 dead.
Gonna continue this run. Bound's gonna try to get down here through sewers. Last shot was last player alive. He had to get that kill. Keep an eye on the kill feed here. They're gonna get a touch. Formal's dropping.
Formal's gonna be safe to grab it as well. He's gonna have the pillars to cover. Legend gets one. Legend bodies another, but keep your eyes on Formal. Formal, the man who put this squad together. The man who committed to being a champion this year. Can't quite get it done. As at the last second, it's Shopify who desperately trying to extend this series.
And the flag is pulled as well. We do have a counter pull coming in. Flag, both flags off the stand.
OpTic have the flag back at their base, but they do not have it capped. They need kills. Formal back off the respawn, might be able to get a touch on this one. He does get it, it's actually Renegade who gets the touch.
3 dead though.
But it's 3 dead for OpTic. They were seconds, they were inches away from being your champions here in Arlington. But Royal 2, not only is the return come in, Royal 2's running this one for Shopify now.
Here comes Legend, he needs a miracle. He might try to get a last second flag pull here. I don't know if he has the timing.
It's tied up!
Unbelievable, 3 dead here. Frosty, last player alive. And here comes the pressure. They're gonna fly right into Swamp. They're gonna try to get a flag pull right away. They're gonna continue the pressure. Frosty rotates over to Snipe.
Shopify trapped in the back of the base. Maybe the play call from OpTic there was give this one up. We'll play for map control. You've got to think ahead if you're OpTic. You cannot let what just happened affect the next few moments of this game. Formal tries to get that flag moving again.
They got the first pick, however, kills are traded out. They're trying to make something happen quickly, and it might cost them.
3 dead for OpTic. Legend does get the overshield though, so OpTic will be able to keep pressure on. Legend can output damage onto numerous players.
It's a burn, essentially. It's an important play from Legend. Really, it's the denial of the overshield that's much more important than the grab. Obviously, no control gain. Simply denying that overshield was everything now. 3 dead for OpTic Gaming off the rip again. Renegade is the only spawner. It's a main ramp flag run.
I cannot believe this. Last shot's got this one up the main ramp. Frosty gets the first kill. Last shot. He's got this one back under the bridge. Last shot, Legend, keep your eyes on Legend. Legend's the overextender here for OpTic. He can save the tournament for them right now. But all of OpTic are falling. Frosty and Royal 2 combined. It's Renegade who can't get close, and somehow or other, Shopify Rebellion send us the distance. OpTic were inches, millimeters away from calling themselves champions, but what do you expect from Shopify Rebellion? They get the return, they get the cap, and they send us the distance. Game 7, bracket reset. Next one is all that matters. I am at a loss for words. I don't know, what do you want? What on earth is that?
You have got to be kidding me. In what was already one of the most historic grand finals in the history of the Halo Championship Series, with Formal mid-flight G-slide on the flag, gets taken down. We're gonna see it in the highlights. My God.
Formal's got his wings out. He's thinking about what's about to happen. The whole room is thinking it's done. We're thinking it's done. Shopify Rebellion, a goal line stand, a last second, a last ditch effort.
I cannot wait to see this again.
Get the return. Nice catch my breath.
This is one of those where you know exactly how the movie ends, but you cannot wait.
You don't know how this movie ends.
To see it again.
Oh.
An unbelievable game time. Like I said, I was glad this was game number 6. And I think everyone at home and in the arena was as well. It looked like this, I mean, OpTic Gaming had everything written here. This was to be their game. This was perfect run after perfect run. Formal brings this flag home. And man, I'm happy to sit here and watch all these highlights. At this stage in the game, it's 2-1 OpTic Gaming with 6 minutes left.
Just an epic. That's the only way you can describe it. Whenever these two teams match up, it's like, what's next? How do we outdo each other next time around?
That back from Royal 2. Look at this stop. Legend hits the brainer.
Legend gets one, bodies another. Watch Frosty to no shields.
Formal on the G-slide. Full shields here, by the way.
It's Frosty. Frosty with an absolute god nade. A god nade. Does enough damage from the snipe bridge. It's just... Game 7.
We could not ask for more between these two.
I am going to throw up.
And I tell you what, backstage there was a lot of people, maybe they manifested it, brought it into existence. A lot of people were saying, I want to see, us too by the way, a bracket reset game 7. Look at this nade from Frosty.
Oh. And it's him who gets the kill as well.
It's actually, yeah, you're right. He's pre-nading, and actually it's the team shot from the main ramp as well, along with Frosty sitting in the snipe hut, that stops that flag mid-flight from going in. It would have been an OpTic Gaming hoisting the trophy. Instead, we go to a final bracket reset, game number 7.
Shopify have stepped away from the stage for just a few seconds here. OpTic still sat there waiting. And I think this is a deliberate ploy from Shopify Rebellion. Let them think about what just happened, how close you were, but not close enough. I think the more time that Shopify take here, the more it's going to hurt OpTic, the more they're going to be thinking about it. But at the same time, OpTic have been through it all. We've mentioned it has been just emotional, physical roller coaster for them to get to this point. And it feels like one more hurdle to overcome in 1,000 hurdles that have been in their way.
This is the reset so far. And as you'd expect, 2 players positive on each team, 2 players just under a 1.0 on each team. And we could not be any closer. This grand final has been incredible. We know many of you are joining us from all around the world, staying up to late hours of the evening, or if you're with us here Central Time, all the way now to nearly 9 p.m. in a historic weekend of competitive Halo, and 1 game separating these two for a tournament title.
It's been an eventful weekend, to say the least. And now we head towards one more game, and we will decide who's going to be our champ. It has been an incredible tournament, and just a reminder, everyone, if you're watching here, if you're watching at home, wherever you're part of this, this is the first event of the season. The first event of the season is providing us with this level of entertainment, this level of skill and ability. And if you're watching some Halo Infinite for the first time, welcome. We hope that you're going to be here to stay.
We've seen this team, these two teams, play this exact game type a few times. It was a 50-47 win for Shopify Rebellion, so a 3 kills separating the two.
It's quite big between these two.
It's true, it's a massive lead when we're talking about these two teams, but a 3-kill win at the Kason Showdown in this exact game type, which I think tees us up perfectly. We've already seen them play it on LAN, and barely anything separating the two. And I cannot get over that game, that fortress.
Can we talk about that nade a little, just for a second, by the way? The way it bounces, it literally lands at the foot of the flagpole.
Right. And then, but he times the nade perfectly where he still gets this, right, the kill feed has to him actually getting the kill with the bandit as well. So like the timing was insane.
If the nade is like a foot off, Former's probably got enough shields to make it. It is pixel perfect. And that's not a 12-foot nade. That's like a 40-foot cross-map nade.
That's not easy, right. When you're fighting from your opponent's hut and street like that, you're getting absolutely dinged from every angle. And I tell you what, I think once again, OpTic Gaming got a little bit impatient thereafter, right? The game wasn't over then. They're still leading at that point. And I think they tried to make something happen a little bit too quickly. We've seen them do that in this series before. It costs them in the end. Taking a look here at some OpTic shooters. The Slayer stats so far in the grand final reset, both of them on a 1.56 in the Slayers so far.
And again, just to highlight, and Renegade, we talked a lot about him. Legend is doing a lot of this without picking up power weapons. He's not first in line to find a sniper rifle. He'll be picking it up off the floor, off of a body. Whereas Renegade is going to be given that responsibility a lot of the time for OpTic, which just gives, again, more weight to how impressive those Slayer stats are for Sabri, for Legend on OpTic Gaming. One thing to note on the Slayers that we've seen so far in these series, OpTic have been heavily on top when it comes to this particular game type. But what is the psyche? What is the mentality of OpTic going into this game 7 after what we just saw?
And how about we just saw from Formal, right? Just closing his eyes and taking a deep breath. Let's not forget, we've also seen historic moments from Formal on Recharge Slayer before, right? With him having the camo. And guess what? Getting no-scoped by the shock by who else? Royal 2, who's on the other side of the stage right now. This is a historic battleground in year 4 of this game, where each of these players will have different stories. Does OpTic Gaming find revenge and justice in the team change? Or is it all for naught? Is it another second place for OpTic? On the other side of the stage, do we see Last Shot and Cycle getting their first LAN win ever? And the veterans Royal 2 and Frosty being justified in their team change? Only one of those stories can be true. Only one side of those stories will take place.
Well, nervy looking faces out there, and understandably so.
Everyone's looking like Formal. Big deep breaths for the green wall here in Arlington, and from everyone joining us around the world. Once again, huge shout out to everyone who has stayed up with us on the Scum Party here on Twitch, on YouTube, on the Maniac Watch Party, LVT, and everyone else co-streaming. It's been historic, and we are getting ready for the final match of the evening. One game of Slayer to decide who will hoist the trophy and take the first major of 2025.
A few more seconds to wait as we have the lobby remade here, but it almost just builds the anticipation. It builds this moment even more. It's just, like you say, it's fascinating you talk about some of those moments with players that have interacted with those big kill moments, those big swing moments. The Royal 2 Formal camo, shock rifle on Batledge. One of the big parts of Halo history now. There's just a moment that will be remembered, and you get the feeling in a game 7 there has to be a moment like that that is going to be remembered, that's going to swing that trophy from one side of the stage to the other into the hands of one set of 4 players. These are the kind of circumstances that you can't prepare for. This is just instinctual at this point. You can do everything, you can scrim, you can talk, you can go through experiences, but this is just what you're made of. This is just what you are as a person. This is just performing when you have to. And making a play that's going to win your team a championship.
And let's not forget, not just the entire offseason, but all of last year has built to this moment. Like we said, OpTic Gaming is tired of second place, and they built a team to make sure it does not happen again. All of that loading all the way into this game. It just feels like there's so much on the line for this year, right? How do you start this year? It would be a statement for either side. The rivalry that we knew would be the 2 teams to watch, the 2 teams we knew would be in a grand final, but we had no idea it would be quite this good. We've gone the distance, and it will be just 12 minutes and 50 kills to decide who starts this year ahead. Let's take a look at the Slayer record so far.
7-3 for Shopify Rebellion, 9-5 for OpTic Gaming. OpTic have won both Slayers, however, in the Grand Finals reset. Something to keep in mind for OpTic fans.
Which was completely different, keep in mind, from the winners quarterfinal that we saw. And we are underway in game number 7.
All right then, Arlington, give us your energy. Everybody on that stage deserves it. They have put on quite the show. In our first HCS major of the year, it's Formal who opens things up with a frag grenade. And it's followed up by Bound. It's a 2-0 opening strategy. That's going to give the lead here to OpTic.
First 3 kills now, 3-0. Shroud also goes down here on camo. Legend able to grab it. And what an opening, what an opportunity for OpTic Gaming. You also have a feeling the green wall is going to be allowed for every single kill in this room.
I think that's just going to settle the nerves here for OpTic Gaming as well. If they lose that opening battle, maybe things feel a bit different. But 6-1, all of a sudden, the memories are erased. A 5-kill lead off the break here. Control of the map and control of this finals.
6-1 off the opening. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're on OpTic Gaming, and Renegade now with both Grapple and Shock. What a weekend he's had, and what an opportunity to put a punctuation mark on it. If they don't take this game, it will all be for naught.
Game has come to an absolute standstill. And this game has been, these two series have been played at 1,000 miles an hour. That's how much this means. Legend's gonna find one, that's gonna keep that lead. And now, having been given the opening, 2 players are gonna be left alive in tower. Another kill got picked up by OpTic. It's 8-1 for them. And with the numbers that they have, Renegade's able to stay alive a little bit longer than he probably should have in that situation. Royal 2 puts Former down to no shields, somehow stays alive as well. By doing so, Frosty gets involved to take him down.
Get the feeling they should be even more than 10-4 at this stage of the game. No trade comes in. Royal 2 gonna stay alive back tower. Excuse me, back Ellie for even longer. And finally, he's taken down. It's 11-6. And to be honest, I feel like Shopify should be very happy they've kept the game this close.
11-8 now, as we see the next camouflage popping up bottom middle. That's going to be the point of contention for both of these teams. And you get the feeling it's almost not important to get it as much as it is to make sure that your opposition don't get it.
It really is.
If you convert it, that's everything.
It really is, just like last game. It's really about denying here. Royal 2 with it. And look at the scoreline. You have a feeling OpTic Gaming got greedy at 6-1 with Shock and Grapple. Did they need to flush out tower? Did they need to get into that dicey situation? Now they only lead by 1.
Info coming in from Royal 2. Frosty finds one. Bounce slides out, but it's 2 kills, and it's 3 dead for OpTic Gaming, and Shopify have turned that table once more in their favor, only by 1, but they have their first lead of this game.
Remarkable resilience here from Shopify. Trailing 6-1, they slow the game down to a crawl, and somehow find the lead now, tied at 16.
Bound gets the pick to give OpTic a 1-kill advantage. Now he's flying in with that grapple to grab the shock rifle as well. He's trying to pick the pace up a little bit here. Formal no shields, but Renegade's here to support him. Most of the Shopify Rebellion players are trapped in and around the elevator, and if they're quick here, OpTic Gaming, they might have a pinch, but that flank on the C play is going to slow things down just a little bit. There's a second kill for last shot, and the grapples across map for Renegade are just not working out.
Renegade wanted to capitalize on the damage at Whirlpool. Instead of grabbing the shock was not grabbed instead. They're now trailed by 3 kills here. Once again, it's big play calls coming in from OpTic, and twice now they didn't pay off.
Renegade not looking. Doesn't look both ways when he crosses the street. Somehow gets out of it with a trade, though. It's a 3-kill advantage here for Shopify. A cycle. Looking for information, looking for any damage he can output at the moment. The pings are coming in here, and he's taking a sneaky little jump. Former's going to be in front of him. It will only be a trade. 2 kills, the advantage for Shopify.
Unbelievable turn of events and swing here in this game. Keep an eye on bottom middle right now. This camo could determine who wins this tournament.
Bounce got the shot, can't quite connect with the headshots. That one's going to be good with the bandit though. Tries to push in front of this camo. The shroud goes down as well. OpTic should, and I say should, be in a position to get away with this camo. We'll have to look through the POVs to make sure if it was burnt or if someone has managed to collect it.
Big trade there. 3 were dead. Renegade last player alive. Might be a burn bottom middle. It was 3 dead for each side, and it's still just a 1-kill lead for Shopify. Kills traded out. Once again, no surprise, but Cycle right now popping off 11-2. On the other side, it's Bound 10-7.
We're back to a standstill. OpTic set up around the pipes and the glass. It's tower and A here for Shopify. Royal 2 though. I like this play from Renegade. He's trying to up the pace. He's trying to take advantage, and he gets that shot back in their hands. Only the 1 bullet to play with, but elsewhere on the map, it's Formal and Bound.
Wow.
Who pick up kills, and OpTic now have a 2-kill advantage.
Beautifully done there, and I love this from Renegade. They're also going to find last shot. Hiding on the crate, and now a 3-kill lead. The Let's Go OpTic chant erupts.
And as Legend said a little bit earlier in this listening, in this series, check your corners. And last shot does exactly that.
And just like this now, as it's 32-29, the first sizable lead here at the mid-game. Let's get to a listen in with OpTic Gaming.
Long guys, long.
Two here.
Slow this down a little bit.
Yo, hold
Very
stuff,
soft,
man.
very soft. Not even,
One ball's open right now.
Watch push.
You should get third, man. You should get third.
What's on the window?
I'm here.
Yeah, it's guys.
Game mode 15, guys.
But I'm telling one guy.
Yo, res.
We're here. Two teams here.
Bottom
They're
mid.
gonna go up.
Go big glass shot. Go big glass shot.
Go bottom mid.
That's the truck. Go on truck. Absolute battle truck.
We're not there.
Yo,
Belge one.
Bottom me. Watch out.
We're done. Bottom me one, guys.
Campbell's up, guys. They're gonna
On truck. Balance one down. Once.
Get up shot. But I'm telling he's a place. Make it. Watch out. Make it a stick. Watch out. Make it a stick.
Give him a shot.
Man back. He's like trippy.
See,
Watch out.
Campbell's almost out, guys. They got like 3 seconds to Campbell. 5 seconds to Campbell.
Oh my God. It's glass jockey. Watch out glass. Watch out get out.
Ready. We can't.
Get out.
Needles. They're trying to hold me, guys. They're trying to hold me.
Make it batteries.
Batteries, battery. Big glass. He's weak behind you guys. T-box is weak.
Bottom tire.
Got to be.
Right now.
I spawn behind that guy.
1 kill, the difference between these two teams as we come out of the listening, and understandably OpTic sounding a little bit stressed.
Frosty there alone in red pipes. They're going to try to collapse on him if they can. You can see it here in third person. And they will be able to now. Still, just 1 kill, 40-39 in favor of Shopify.
10 kills to go for Shopify, 11 for OpTic. Formal gets one. We're tied up at 40-40. Nothing between these two teams again.
Unbelievable. OpTic, great resilience here. Gonna try to keep him alive here on Royal 2. Might get taken down the overhang. He does. 2 dead here for Shopify.
It's a 2-kill advantage. For OpTic Gaming, it was bound with the first pick. It's Legend with the second. Cycle answers back, but here comes Renegade. Here comes OpTic. They go into a 3-kill lead. They just need 6.
After just trailing moments ago, they brought this game not only back, but as you say, a 3-kill lead at this stage is massive. They're going to look for the opening damage here, but otherwise, they can really let their opponents come to them. All eyes on this camo.
And you get the feeling they're not going to make the same mistake as last time. They are going to slow this down. They are not going to force the pace. They don't want to make mistakes. Legend, though, he's there to take down Royal 2. And there's a cushion starting to develop here for OpTic Gaming, but if they learn anything from that previous game, it is not done until it's done, and Cycle has the camo.
Tournament in his hands, down by 2. How does he play this?
Formal gets out of that situation with the trade. Cycle's down. The camo is down. And OpTic now find themselves just 3 away.
Renegade makes a hero play. He makes sure that they burn camo, and he does it so well. Now 48-44, 2 kills to go for OpTic.
Royal 2 gets 1, but it is just 2 to go. Renegade taking danger. Taking some angles as Formal gets the 49th on the board. Renegade is on the hunt. He wants it to be his, but it's Formal. And Shopify turned up.
Here it is.
Formal moves in. Formal gets the kill. Formal gets the kill. And OpTic will complete the ultimate story. Champions here in Arlington the hard way. The most difficult way possible. But they reset the bracket. They break the curse, and they can call themselves champions.
And Formal wastes no time. Picks up that trophy because OpTic Gaming has earned it through an arduous offseason and an unbelievable weekend run that will never be forgotten from the elimination bracket. To take the title in a bracket reset, Game 7 down to the wire.
A lot of teams would not have made it back from what happened at the end of that CTF Forbidden. That would have broken them. Not OpTic Gaming. This roster is built for success, was built to win. And as you can see on your screens, justified in making the changes. Your HCS Arlington Major 1 champions are OpTic Gaming.
And not just that, but with this victory, with the team change, the second place curse for OpTic Gaming is officially broken. Here and now, your champions at the OpTic Major, doing it in their own house to start the 2025 season, and as you say, justifying one of the most historic and even controversial team changes in competitive Halo history. But you heard it from them before the event. We made this team change for a reason, and we knew it could be the best in the world, and right now, that's where OpTic Gaming is.
And you look at the reaction from Formal, it just feels like the weight of the world is lifted from his shoulders now. Sick of second places, hates not winning. But now that winning feeling is back. What a moment for OpTic Gaming. What a moment for those 5 players and coach, of course, Box, who's at the end there on our stage. OpTic Gaming are your champions. Blaze, let's hear from the champs.
Texas, make some noise for your champions, OpTic Gaming! Wow! What a series that was, Renegade. You haven't been in the grand finals since Atlanta last year. You make it back to the stage, and you come out with a big W. Talk to me about how you're feeling in this moment, because Texas, you guys can agree, did he play absolutely insane this weekend? Chat, I think you guys are chanting MVP as well, and usually I save the MVP for the end, but bro, you killed it this event. Good job, man. How you feeling?
I feel fucking amazing, bro. That is the best tournament I've ever played in my life. Like, not even individually with the team, the circumstances we had to overcome, like that was amazing. Shout out to these guys.
Shout out to them as well, man. It was an extremely difficult tournament for you guys to have to go through and come away with a win. Legend, I believe that makes it a 4-peat for you going from last year. You had to play against your own teammates. You had to prove haters wrong. But yet again, you stand on top of this stage as a champion. How do you feel, Legend?
Honestly, I feel amazing. Like, I knew we were going to win the shit since yesterday when we were down like 0-2. And we reverse sweep them. Like, I knew that tournament was for us, dude. I knew it. Like, even like if we took like the game 6, like I knew we were going to win the game 7. Then let's go, man. Shout out to Green Wall, bro. Thank you so much, guys.
Now, Legend, lastly, do you want to say anything to your fans across the way over there in France? You want to speak in
French?
Yeah, we want to speak in French for them?
Merci à tout le monde qui me regarde, les Français, tout ça. Merci beaucoup, les gars.
There you go. Let me move on down. Can we get some H4Fs in the chat? Come on now, Formal. You've been on a roll paved silver for a while, but now it's shining gold yet again. This one meant a lot to you. How do you feel in this moment for everything y'all had to overcome? I know this was a unique tournament for you.
Yeah, man, it was getting pretty dark the past like year, so this was like much needed just for like my mental, and like I'm just so proud of the way the team like bounced back, like the reverse sweep against Nemesis, like playing today, like even going down in that series, like geez, I'm really proud of the team, man.
Definitely are, man. It was a feat that we have not seen in a while, and you are a champion yet again, Formal. Let's talk to the young superstar, Bound, because Bound, that's a 4P for you as well. You made a lot of changes in the offseason. Even after being a world champion, you said, you know what, there's still a higher ceiling in which I can hit. There are still more things in which I want to accomplish, and damn, you did that today. How you feel in a moment?
I mean, happy Easter. I don't know, God's Rose feels amazing. Just fucking feels amazing.
Happy Easter, everybody. It's a beautiful day, especially one for the Green Wall. You want to give any shout-outs out there to the people supporting you, the family, anybody?
I mean, yeah, shout out my family, shout out all the fans who come out. I'm not usually used to you guys staying after the win, so it's pretty cool to see all the fans and seeing them stay, so sick.
There you go. Let me move on down the line real quick. All right, Coach Lunchbox. Jason, you've been in a few of these big-time matches, a lot in your career, but talk to me about everything that this team had to go through to overcome all the haters, to overcome all the doubt, and to become the champions that the Green Wall know that you guys are.
Yeah, I mean, they formed this team for this exact moment, a Game 7 in the Grand Finals reset, and these boys are clutch. That's all there is to say.
That's all there is to say. They are clutch. Are they clutch, Texas? They are, okay? Lastly, Lunchbox, okay, what do you want to say to these fans that got their phones up, that's out there recording this one, that's watching history here with you guys? How do you want to thank them?
Yeah, first of all, a huge shout out to Esports Engine 343 to keep this event going. There was crazy circumstances Friday. And a big shout out to the Green Wall. You guys were loud, pushing us through. We appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go, Texas. One more time, let's blow the roof off the Esports Stadium. Make some noise for your Major 1 champions, OpTic Gaming.
This house is OpTic's house, rightfully so, at their own LAN tournament, getting it done in the most impressive fashion. Clutch, how are you feeling right now, staring at all of these incredible players and coach, lifting up that trophy, taking that second place curse away with Formal smiling ear to ear?
Yeah, I mean, just watching Formal's reaction to that win, how much it means to him, even though he's the whatever time champion he is across so many esports. I mean, it made me emotional just watching him because of how much this meant to him. This OpTic Gaming roster obviously has so much success across their careers, but for Formal to get through the dark times he referenced in his life and to be able to find that light at the end of the tunnel, I mean, this is something that he will never forget, that I will never forget. And I am just so proud of the way that this team battled from elimination round 1 all the way through, and hats off to them. They deserve this championship. This is one of the most special tournaments I've ever witnessed from a team getting back on the right track and showing that they are truly champions. This is well deserved by them.
Incredibly deserved. I don't think we've ever seen a journey quite like that one from round 1. That was insane. And not only that, just the grand finals in itself, Tony, such a different emotion going through the mix, especially in that second series where things were getting awfully dicey for both teams. We weren't sure exactly what was going to happen, and I think that fear kicked in for OpTic fans and even for that OpTic team in the second to last map. That map 6 was terrifying. That CTF, they were an inch, a second, a millisecond even, away from winning there and then. But no, denied every single time you think it's just about to be done. It wasn't over. OpTic Gaming rallying back the way that they did in that Slayer. I for sure thought that they would be checked and it was kind of over here.
I mean, it wasn't just that game 6 that was terrifying. It was this entire tournament. I mean, like you said, the craziest run from round number 1 in the lower bracket all the way to the grand finals. They swept that first best of 7 series, and then the second one was an absolute battle. It was crazy to watch, but OpTic, you broke the curse. You did it in your own house, and man, it's emotional here. It was beautiful.
Tony, you said you didn't want to be a prisoner of the moment after OpTic dominated the first best of 7 in this grand finals, and all I could think of, we are the witnesses of greatness. This is the best Halo Infinite played, and that team right there is greatness. It was formed for one reason and one reason alone, to win championships, and step 1 looks damn good, and will be a memory for all Halo fans that were able to check this one out. Unbelievable by OpTic Gaming.
Unbelievable indeed. I've got to say there were doubters for sure. I think the doubters looked awfully smug in that elimination bracket, seeing OpTic having to really battle it out, but battle it out they did. I also do want to give a massive, massive GGs to Shopify Rebellion as we're looking over the stats here. Oh, yeah. You can see right now Royal 2, a 1.24 finishing, that grueler of a grand finals reset, coming straight down that wire, moments away from victory themselves, lead changes upon lead changes. It really was a battle of guessing games. I mean, it's hearsay in certain situations as well. Inches, margins for both teams here. And Shopify Rebellion, they need their flowers too. That was incredible. What an amazing tournament for them. I am gutted for them in one side and incredibly elated the other for OpTic Gaming. But that's just how it works, right? You have your tournament highs and lows. that's how this thing works, this wonderful thing that is Halo Infinite competition. Shopify Rebellion, they need to keep their head up. I don't think they really need to change anything right now in terms of their gameplay. It just comes down to those small decisions, small moments, and sometimes just who's absolutely beaming.
It's never going to feel good to lose the grand finals, especially in the way you did, having that double best of sevens as your opportunity. But I mean, Shopify, it's going to be a couple of days until they get over this, but we will see Shopify again in grand finals. This is Cycle and Last Shot's first grand finals ever, and to go to war with world champions on the other side and put on the show you did, and to play lights out. Cycle, in my opinion, was the best player on Shopify in that grand finals. For him, as a young gun, to come out, play the way he did, if they can replicate what they did here today, they will win plenty of trophies themselves in the future.
I'm glad you said it, because Cycle was definitely one of my massive highlights for Shopify Rebellion. I think when you factor in how young he is, how relatively new he is to this level of competition, moments like this, it's not just about playing these teams, right? You might have played these teams tons of times, or iterations of these teams tons of times, but to be in a pressure situation like a grand finals, having a bracket reset on oneself after a clean winners bracket run in a tournament you really think you deserve, based on everything leading up to it, right? To have a high pressure moment like that and be able to get things done across the board, he saved his team so many different times on so many different occasions. This could have ended a lot earlier on, and Tony, Cycle was there always to save the day. So good, and I'm so proud of what he was able to do.
Yeah, it feels like Cycle really thrives on that LAN type of environment. Like, even going back to the when they boot camped over in Toronto at that Shopify Rebellion headquarters, he was playing so much better than you saw him online. You saw him over toward the FaZe K-Sun event. He was doing his thing, and even here in this tournament, he thrives on this. And although they didn't get a win, I think Shopify Rebellion have a lot to be proud of.
They certainly do indeed. I also want to mention the fact that Legend and Bound took a humongous risk. We mentioned earlier on the desk the pressure that was on their shoulders, not only heading into this weekend, but especially in this series. They made one of the most crazy roster changes after such a dominant performance last year and last season. And as you heard on the main stage, they just four-peated, and it's just paid off. It's just perfectly paid off. It's gone right into their hands, exactly what they wanted and predicted. They know something I think others don't, and clearly this roster change was for the better for those two individuals. Really, really good stuff, Wes. How are you feeling about OpTic Gaming right now as a whole? Do you expect them to be entering every single competition with this level of gameplay, not dropping down to their opponents, not getting complacent, but putting in the work, time, and effort every single series?
I think this is a glimpse of what OpTic have in store for us this year. This was a jump pad start for them. And the way that they started, the turmoil they had to go through, all the doubt that they had to seek in when they go into elimination bracket, down 2-0, weathering the storms, being tried, tested, and true. At the end of the day, you brought your best when you needed every bit of your best to get the job done. OpTic learned so much about themselves, and they're going to be an even harder team, more difficult, better team to play every single event, because this event happened to kick off the season.
I'm glad we got to look at the championship bracket here, and this is just my perspective, my opinion here, but what's crazy to me is that what you look at on Friday with this OpTic Gaming compared to the OpTic that we saw here in this grand finals, dude, it looked like an entirely night and day squad. It looks like OpTic saved their best from when the money was on the line. My buddy Active is always talking about the mental of the players, and the best players in the world, when the money's on the line, when the championship is on the line, they just hit another level. And that OpTic right there, they're going to be a problem all 2025.
100%. I think I actually mentioned it on the desk when we had a look at OpTic's journey in completion, right? Upper bracket, lower bracket like this here. And I said the second half, we saw a totally different team. That first half, I don't want to see them ever again. I don't ever want to see OpTic play like that ever again, where they fall short and they fall flat and they are not treating things the way that we know they can, right? And not playing to the best of their ability. We don't want to see lazy Halo gameplay from OpTic Gaming where they slip up and they shouldn't have. That is imperative. They need to turn things on. You heard Legend on the main stage there in his interview. He said, you know, even when we went down 2-0, I knew we had this. I knew we were going to pull it back. It's because you know you have so much more to give as a team. You have so much more teamwork that you can produce when it matters, and that's so important. Set yourself a standard, stick to it, and then just reach for the stars after that.
Self-belief is the only way to carry yourself from the dark times and find the light, and that's exactly how OpTic got here. A lot of self-belief that we are the best team. We just have to play like it, and it's individual responsibility across the board that really allowed this team to go from what looked like a team that a lot of doubt ensued early on Friday, and then shine bright as gold here on Sunday.
Well, we had the top 4 that we were kind of thinking end up top 4. Don't know if we had it in that order. You could have mixed it up, honestly, and been right either way. It was an absolutely insane weekend of Halo Infinite here. As you can see with our final results across the board here, OpTic Gaming take that first place with $100,000 to piece. Shopify Rebellion, FaZe Clan, and Space Station Gaming are your top 4 teams. And then I want to mention some really, really good rosters who made a name for themselves here in this first major and will be ones to watch coming into the next one. Nemesis, Cloud9, Infamous, and Gen G. Those are your top 8. And for me, it's that 5th and 6th, right? Can you break through that top 4? How good are you? What can you progress on? And for me, Nemesis is a big one. What else have you got left in the tank for us? You know, do you see them at any point, West, breaking into that top 4 space? Can they take down the likes of FaZe Clan or a Space Station Gaming?
I absolutely think they're capable of it, but the big question for me is Nemesis is like that team that always creates one upset a tournament or potentially an upset in a tournament. How do we get that to be more than just one? How do you find a level of consistency, a comfortability in playing against these top teams and bringing your A game to each series? Leaving the door open up 2-0 on OpTic, this kind of stuff happens when that door stays open. OpTic got hot, and when it was up to Nemesis to knock OpTic out of this tournament. When they didn't, that was OpTic's opportunity to say, all right, no more messing around. We have to play lights out from here on out. I think Nemesis is going to be kicking themselves, obviously, for not placing even higher, breaking all personal records, but they've got to be a little bit more consistent on a series-to-series basis across a weekend to place higher.
100%. I do think that they're going to go from strength to strength. I think that they have an org behind them. I think a couple of our big European teams now have orgs under their belt, and the support from them is huge. I know they boot camped coming into this. I know that Nemesis were getting into 8s with our NA teams and pro players getting into the 8 squad and really trying to put in the work and that grind to get better and to get a little bit more on board with what North America are doing in terms of Halo Infinite, what their meta is, what the pace is like, and that was really impressive to me. So I think a little bit more time, even more support from their orgs coming into North America a little bit early on, it's going to pay off so much for these big European teams to see what they can actually do throughout an entire weekend and even season as well. All right, we need to wrap things up on the desk here. Final thoughts, Tony. What a weekend, what a winner, and what a way to win. How are you feeling about the rest of the season?
I mean, I'm feeling really good. You know, a big congratulations to OpTic Gaming and many other teams that came out and put on a crazy show. But I mean, right here in OpTic's house, Arlington is proud, and go Green Wall.
Go Green Wall. He's had the chain on for a reason. That's a lucky chain, Tony. You need to keep that one. Definitely handy for the next one. And Clutch, I mean, just what is there left to say, to be honest? The competition, it gets bigger and better every single year.
The only thing I can think of on my mind right now is how much this moment meant to Formal and like how beautiful esports is and how how much of a journey every single individual player is on throughout their careers. And no matter how successful you are, no matter if it's your first grand finals, I mean, the passion, the emotions that go through these guys, it is something special. It is everything bit of real life. And I couldn't be more happy to see Formal later on and just tell him I'm proud of him for getting through what he's been through recently. So I'll leave y'all with that, and hopefully the stories continue to write themselves and we continue to see bright smiles on that stage.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for all your hard work all weekend long. Had an absolute blast with you guys up here on the desk. Thank you so much to Halo Studios. Thank you to Esports Stadium Arlington. Thank you so much to Corey Dunn and his team in production, because you guys got through something that was extremely difficult this weekend with absolute ease. Absolutely incredible stuff. You should be so proud of yourselves. And folks at home, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had the best time ever for the first major here at the Halo Championship Series. It's good night, but it's not goodbye, because we'll see you next time for plenty more Halo Infinite, and I'll see you guys at DreamHack Dallas. Good night.